Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the 71st Hour podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie, as always, joined by my illustrious co hosts, Ben and Nathan. I
So,
don't know where that word came
Illustrious?
from, but I don't, fuck it.
Illustrious?
can you
Man,
define that word for me?
we had a
what do you
week
mean?
off. Hey Siri, what does illustrious mean?
She don't give a fuck.
Well known, respected, and admired for past achievements. There you go.
There we
Damn.
go. We are
So,
illustrious.
Glazing.
Illustrious.
It's glazing.
we are
Yeah, actually
illustrious.
glazing. So we obviously took a week off. We're back. I am totally, completely I've forgotten how to host, to be honest.
Yeah,
But I did want to, just to get us back in the mood to talking on camera, talking about video games. And I'm going to fuck up your timestamps, Ben, right now, immediately. Already going to put it out order. But since we're at the 6 month mark, we're halfway through the year. I wanted to know what your guys' game of the year is right now, as of the 8th of July at 12:53 p.m.
Probably Tears of the Kingdom for me.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's probably an easy pick for Nathan because
I haven't
Tears of the
played any
Kingdom is-
the other games of the year.
the
Yeah.
other potential game. Or you did play Jedi Survivor.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't think it's as good as Tears of the Kingdom, though.
It's so funny, like for Jedi Survivor, like when I finished it, I was like, oh my god, this game was so fucking good. Like there was so many amazing moments, and then it was like fucking completely eclipsed by Tears of the
Yeah,
Kingdom
a week later,
almost
gone.
immediately.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I keep forgetting about it, even though I had such a great time with it. And then there's Resident Evil 4 remake, and there's Diablo 4, and there's Final Fantasy 16 for me. Yeah, there's been a lot. Ben, what about you? What's a game that you've played this year? I'm trying to think of the games you have played this year that came out this year.
So the only two that I really played that actually came out this year was Dead Space remake and Resident Evil 4. It was pretty quick for me to choose Resident Evil 4. I still love that game so much.
was
That
so good.
remake was so good. Yeah, it's a pretty easy pick for me. It's
It's
Resident Evil
honestly
4.
like I keep forgetting about. There's so many games that came out, like even like Hi-Fi Rush that I loved.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Like,
That also came out this year. That's so true.
like and Metroid Prime remastered. Like there's been
shit.
so many insanely good games that it's like I
Yeah.
just like I it's gonna be hard to even pick a top 10 this year because there's been just
It's been a lot. There's been a lot
since
of really good
like
games.
this is the first month where there's like a grace period where there's not a lot coming out that I can think of.
Yeah.
Like the only one that I'm really is on my radar is Remnant 2. But even then, like
Then it
It's gonna
immediately
be a
picks
fun
back
time.
up next month. Like next
What's
month we have
up?
Armored Core.
yeah, Armored Core, Baldur's Gate 3 for
Yeah.
you and Shadow. Like, yeah, there's gonna be and then September and October and yeah. At some
Anything
point, I
really,
do want to do like a topic where we go over like what were most anticipated for the next 6 months, but we'll leave
Yeah.
that for like next week or the week after. But yeah, so obviously that's a good. I mean, at this point, like I feel like it's harder for me to pick because I've played so many games this year already.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna
it's
say,
been
what is
ridiculous.
yours? Because you played so many of the releases this year. Like,
It's dude, it changes every day because like it was. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is probably like most of the time. It's when I'm thinking about it, it's Tears of the Kingdom easily. But then I'm like, man, like Jedi Survivor, like there's so many sick moments. Like the introduction to the villain in Jedi Survivor, and that like so good, so fucking good. The other both introductions to both villains in that game are insane. Like both twists are so good. And then you got Dead Space remake being like this really beloved horror franchise that they did so well, and on the level I'd say is what Capcom's doing with Resident Evil. But then there's like Resident Evil 4 remake, and then Hi-Fi Rush, and I don't know. At this point I'm just gonna say Tears of the Kingdom for now, but when we get to like December of this year, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be Starfield.
I love how you did not bring up Final Fantasy.
Well, I'm going to talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it. Well, see, here's the thing with Final Fantasy is like, there's some fucking insane highs in Final Fantasy 16, but there are some lows.
There's some
and
pretty bad
I
lows,
will
yeah,
talk about
okay.
them later on when we talk about what we've been playing because I'm like 40 hours into that game. Yeah, there's some things that I'm not there's definitely some lows. Whereas I think Tears of the Kingdom really like there's like one low that I can think of.
Yeah, it was.
And the rest of it is just this consistently incredible experience, and yeah, 100 hours well spent. But anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, Here's the background on this main topic, right?
Yeah.
So Twitter is just it's a
Good old
brain dead app,
face way.
bro. I keep
Or his
I
phase.
Yeah, dude.
and the thing is, if you see a FaZe tweet, just totally disregard it because FaZe consistently has the worst takes known to mankind. But the thing is, like sometimes I go to my I go to my For You page on Twitter, and I do see some dog shit tweets. And so this tweet that I saw from FaZe Sway just said, just a question, what ruined gaming? And I thought,
Well,
Is gaming ruined?
is it really ruined? Like, is there actually anything ruining gaming? And I thought it was a cool kind of discussion point there because, I mean, I will say there are some negatives, and I've sort of listed some of the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. But I mean, even just thinking about this year, like how many insane games there's been, I just can't even imagine thinking like, man, gaming's ruined, dude. Like, there's
Yeah,
nothing to
no,
play. It's the same thing when you see like Dr. Disrespect go and say like, oh, dude, I got nothing to play. There's no games to play. It's like,
yeah.
you're like, you're not looking. You're not looking. There's so many games. There's actually too many games. But I wanted to ask if there is anything that you're, in terms of the industry that you can think of. Like, what's something that's a pet peeve maybe with gaming?
There's only one for me.
One pet peeve.
One big one, and then maybe a couple of small ones that I don't really care about. But
Sure.
it is more. You've got it written here. It's the live service thing. I think
Yeah.
that the industry as a whole has been pushed so hard into having to make more profit because everything costs so much more that their hands are being forced into these structures that make so much more money, and they're having to make these games, and even they may not want to, but it's making them a fuck ton of money. So why the hell would they not? And
Well,
I don't find them as enjoyable. But
I was gonna say like it's funny you see a lot of developers who make these live service games that just do not work out. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
definitely.
about BioWare making Anthem. I'm thinking about Arcane making Redfall. Like there's these games that are just not. It's not their back. It's not their bag. You know what I mean? It's just not their thing. And so, I think from like a knowledge perspective, it just doesn't work out. Like there's so many examples where it's just like these developers shouldn't really, and even maybe Naughty Dog making this Factions game, we saw some issues with that and how they've taken a bunch of developers off that project onto their single player game. And that's why Sony is like, they're getting Bungie to look at these live service games that PlayStation has and be like, is this dog shit? And Bungie's like, kind of is. Yeah. I mean, you need to
Leave it to
fix
us.
some things here. Like, yeah. And Bungie has made a ton of mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, I think Destiny's actually in a really kind of not even a bad spot, but it's like
in a very mid spot right now.
But I think the spot is due to the fact that there's so many other better games out that are more interesting and they're new and fresh.
Yeah.
And people are playing Diablo 4 because it's like, oh, this is the new like loot thing that I want to play, and I'm enjoying like the farming dungeons and going up world tiers and fighting world bosses. And Destiny is just it's Destiny. Like it's not doing anything. It's not changing the game as much as it has in the past. Like I'd say since maybe Forsaken, there hasn't been a lot of changes there.
I was like, I know this is going a little bit off topic, but I actually was going to quickly say this since we are on the topic of Destiny. Destiny is in a very unique spot right now where I think another reason why people are so annoyed at the video game is because the story is nearly done. Lightfall Saga ends in less than a year, right? And I think people are getting burnt out, but they don't want to leave because like I want to stay because the story's
it's near the
done.
end. We're close.
They are in this horrible sunk cost fallacy that's killing them and it's pissing them off to no avail. When it's not the game's fault, right?
I think that's totally fair. Like I think a lot of the time, and especially with streamers and YouTubers, is that they've built these platforms around one game or two games, or one genre, shooters, battle royales. And so what happens is when you're just in that space, that's all you don't see everything else that's happening. And so it's just this bubble where they're like, well, I mean, Warzone 2.0 is kind of shit. Fortnite's fine, but it's like, it's Fortnite. Like it's not something that people want to stick with a lot. And I just think people need to branch out and try new things and take breaks. But when you're in that business model as a YouTuber, when you have this platform, like it's kind of scary to branch out to do new stuff. So I can understand that whole like mentality of like, no, I'm a Call of Duty YouTuber or a streamer. I need to just play this and
guaranteed
this only.
to lose the money in the short term.
You are guaranteed.
Exactly. And I think that's a lot of what happens when people say, "Oh, gaming's ruined." It's because they're only playing the same 3 games and they're not branching out. And that may be like monetarily, playing free to play games and not wanting to buy games necessarily. It also may be like, I don't know, not having that entry point. Like there's a lot of franchises. Like I know you guys haven't really played Final Fantasy that much, if
Yeah, not really.
It's one of those franchises where it's like there's no real good entry point because we're at the 16th mainline one, but there's another 20 spin-offs and side things, and it's like no one knows really where to start. And I think there's these franchises that people just they don't know where to begin. They don't know what the best point is, and I think it is just a matter of like. Just start with a From Software game, Just start there and go from there.
Well, like that's the thing, right? Is with I think the one actual issue with gaming, and Nathan said it before, is live service. Because the thing about live service is that they push the limits of what is ethically okay to do. Well, not really ethically, but you know what I mean. Like, it's what is okay. So, for example, like one very bad one recently was Diablo Immortal going to phones and then going to pay to win. You know what I mean? They try to push the limit.
I mean the phone market. I mean the mobile market is a whole other beast
insane.
where it's like
that is yeah.
and there was that time where I think a lot of AAA publishers were trying to take the learnings from the mobile game market and bring it into console gaming and PC gaming. You saw that with like Battlefront 2 with the loot boxes, and you've seen a lot of examples of like this pay to win stuff. And luckily at this point, it's sort of gone away. I know people still complain about, the Diablo 4 cosmetic shop being like these $40 fucking armor sets that are,
which is
you could probably get something that's comparable in game, but if you really want the coolest shit, you buy it in the store. And I can understand that, but I've always been of the mind that like when it comes to cosmetics in games, I'm not gonna pay for like a different gun skin, especially $40. Like even if it was like, if they were like $5 armor sets, I'd be like, you know what, $5. I think I could drop $5 on an armor set if I think it looked cool. But realistically, they know that there's gonna be these fucking whales that are buying up every armor set for their class.
But that's
and
the
spending
reason,
$1,000.
Right? That's the reason why it works, because you have these few people that are sitting on millions of dollars. Like,
someone's done the math, and they're like, "Hey, we can actually earn more off these people who are just dumping money into this game, versus just getting like little bits and pieces from a bunch of people."
I think that's all right, as long as it's cosmetic.
As long as it's
cosmetic.
As long as it's cosmetic. Didn't Warzone do a thing where you could buy a pack and it had a UAV in it or some shit?
Dude, there's been
that's stupid.
Call of Duty's gone really. What happens is, as the seasons in the newest Call of Duty release continue, they get more fucked. Where it's like, there's like, you can get this skin that makes you pitch fucking black, so you can just hide in a corner and not be seen. Like, and there's like these super camouflage skins that are only available with like premium currency. Like, there is a trend of them doing that in the game, where they're like, no, we are going to nickel and dime you as the seasons go on. And people keep buying it, man.
Of course
I saw people, like because Warzone 1 is being shut down in September, and people are up in arms because they're like, I don't like Warzone 2, I want to play Warzone 1. And there were people being like, people were saying, well, what about the skins I bought? And it's like, yeah, well, yeah. I saw someone who was like, I reckon on average, the average Warzone 1 player probably spent $500 on skins. I was like, bro, that is a lot of money. Like, that's a shit ton for skins in a video game. Like,
where did this number come from?
I don't know. No, this person was. I think they're just totally fucking. They're in such an echo chamber. They're like, $500 on a game.
I spent 10,000, so everyone must be spending 500.
At least 500. I was like, you're insane, bro. Like, I guarantee the majority of players have not spent any money. It's just these few people.
Definitely.
And that's what leads to live service games, I guess, getting this rap of being sort of the nickel and dime, like, kind of squeeze the money out of you. And Bungie gets that as well with Destiny. They took the dungeons out of the seasonal passes or whatever. They make you pay for it extra. They've upped the prices of the Ultimate Edition or whatever you get.
Digital slowly increasing in price. Yeah.
Which I understand. Like if you're I don't know. I don't want to be a corporate apologist, but like I do get that value out of that game every year.
Yes.
Like I've spent like 1,500 hours on the Steam version of Destiny, not even counting Battle.net and when I played on PS4 and Destiny 1. Like I've got probably
Oh.
close to 3,000 hours in the game across both Destinies.
Yeah.
I'm getting my money's worth.
Yeah.
But I can
100%.
understand, like, if you're someone who's just joining the game, right, and you look at like Nathan, for example, when he was getting into Destiny a little bit, there's no real path to what you should buy. You know,
I would love to casually play Destiny. It's just not economical.
It's not viable. No,
Yeah.
not by any
it's
means.
really not. And I think the thing with the seasonal model in games is that you get a lot of you make the entry point even harder for certain people. Like if Nathan jumped in today, he'd be playing this. What's the season called? I don't even know what this Destiny season's called.
Season of
of the water. You're in water. You're underwater.
Yeah.
Season of the Mariner or some shit. I don't know. You're underwater. If he jumped in today, he would be getting like seasonal story missions for what's happening now without having played the Lifeful
past,
expansion. So
right?
not knowing
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on with the witness or
context
what's
of it,
going on.
right?
No
Yeah.
context at all. And they've done an okay job at kind of onboarding people into like what's going on, but still there's like, I mean, when I saw XUC play Destiny 2, like the pop-ups that came up, like he went through 5 minutes of pop-ups
That was so funny.
because the game just doesn't, I guess
He'd never
it
played
just-
before, had he?
he the last time he played was
Season 2 or
like
something.
Shadowkeep.
Yeah,
in
which
like
makes it
2019.
worse.
So
Which
it was
makes-
like 4 years of pop-ups from like every season coming up and every raid and every like subclass update or whatever. It was like
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. Like, could you imagine loading up a game and just getting bombarded with years of pop-ups?
You would get
like
so overwhelmed. You would get
Dude,
so overwhelmed.
and no one's gonna read all that. They're like,
No.
enter, skip through all this. And so I think like with these live service games, there is that kind of there's a difficulty of getting people into the game, and I think some games do it better than others. But I think Destiny
Much better.
and like Final Fantasy 14 are really bad at it.
Uh-huh.
Because like Final Fantasy 14 makes you play every expansion story,
Yeah.
which is like at this point like 500 hours of quests before you get to where they're at, where people are at, not including endgame stuff. Like,
Yeah, I would say the worst are Destiny, Final Fantasy, and Warframe.
Oh,
I think
yeah, no, I forgot about
the
Warframe. Yeah, no,
I think
Warframe
we
is-
need to bring up Warframe in that situation. That shit's bad, and how much because the thing about Final Fantasy and whatnot, like yes, it's like it's 500 hours, but you're doing quests, and it's always I imagine they're always a little bit
there's
different.
good story stuff.
Yeah, Warframe, you're doing the same procedurally generated dungeon over and over and over again. For
At some
100
point,
hours.
they have to do like not so much a reset, but like a this is the point because I know all these developers and publishers always say there's never been a better time to jump into this game.
Yeah.
They are fucking lying.
They
They
are
are. That is
lying.
not the case at all because there is 70 hours of prelude to the new stuff. Like, I don't know, and it's just a matter of like there's so many live service games now that you can't play all of them. You know, like you've
No,
got to pick
no,
and
you
choose
can't.
like maybe one, maybe two, and that's
Which-
it. Like you can't
Which
go
really
more than that.
Sucks.
2 is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Two literally does feel like a full time job. Like
which really sucks, right? Because I would
does.
love to play Final Fantasy, but I've already put so much time into Warframe and sorry, not Anthem.
Anthem. It's so much time in
Oh.
Warframe and Anthem, dude.
Warframe and Destiny. That
Yeah.
I really don't want to put the same amount of time into a game.
I would
like
I mean, I will say you can play the full base game and the first expansion for free. So there is that. But
wow.
and that is like 200 hours right there.
Yeah,
just
right.
those two. And so I mean, I understand they're trying to get people into it to get people used to how the MMO works, and I respect that. But it's just like that would be literally my year of gaming would be Final Fantasy 4. I'd be like, well, I'm playing nothing this year. I would have to make that decision otherwise, you know, with the monthly subscription and I don't know. There is too many games. Like that
There
is
is.
honestly a negative.
No.
Like there's actually too many games
There's actually,
and
which is so
at
funny
some
to say
point
that's
the
a negative.
dam is going to explode where there's going to be too many live service games and
it's gonna
none of
implode.
them no future live service games are going to succeed because
The-
there's already everyone's got their fill at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I feel like the issue that comes with that as well is that people are going to get bored of said live service games, and live service games, at least the MMO style ones, are going to die in essence. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yeah, but I mean, do you think Fortnite is going to be around in the next 20 years?
oh, that's a good question. I would. I
They've
think
done a
it's-
bloody good job of keeping it relevant so far.
They have.
They have,
But it has
I
only been 6 years.
Yeah.
I think that.
But you know,
once-
that's that. What did they go through? H1Z1. Wait, was that out with H1Z1? Maybe that was.
H1Z at that point, H1Z1 was, I believe, already kind of dead.
It
Yeah.
was dying.
It was
Yeah.
PUBG was the
And
thing.
then so
It
they
was
survived all
PUBG.
through that and PUBG, and then into the
It
next
came-
one, and you
Mhm.
know, like they've really
And they survived
stuck through it.
Warzone,
Yeah.
and I mean, at this
Yeah,
point, I think the
no.
two top battle royales are Fortnite and Warzone.
Yeah.
And maybe Apex is like third,
Well, actually,
possibly.
Oh
like,
yeah, true. Forgot about that.
like,
But
you know,
Apex is like,
PUBG
man, Apex is in a really bad spot where I hear nothing about that game.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if it's because I'm just not in the right circles, but that game
Well,
just
hold on.
doesn't, I don't, when there's a new season, I just never hear about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's very
Let me-
strange.
I'm going to quickly just look up like the Steam player count of Apex Legends. I'm gonna see what we're sitting at here.
I think it's still high.
Yeah.
I think the last
it's
time we
doing
checked-
really well still. Like
How many people right now?
142,000.
Whoa.
Jesus, where are these people? Where I don't know them. I don't know these people, man.
Yeah, 142,000 playing 11 minutes ago. In the
That's
past,
probably more than Warzone at the moment. Honestly,
in the
Yeah.
24-hour peak, 300,000 people.
Jesus.
So there's still a lot of people playing Apex.
but to be fair, I think Fortnite is like at least 3 times that.
oh,
Yeah,
so
I'd
Fortnite's
say.
Like
insanely
Fortnite
high.
is far and above what
Yeah.
Apex and even Warzone are doing. I think.
100%.
Although I
Well,
think
let me
Warzone is
see.
more a console battle royale game.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas I think
Warzone.
Apex leans more to the PC audience, but there is probably more players on console just naturally because there's more people
Hmm.
with a console. But yeah,
Uh,
I mean Fortnite, I would be surprised if there's ever a point where it's like, this is it. There's no more seasons of Fortnite. Like there's no new collaborations. I just think it's at a point where it's like this giant snowball where it can't be stopped. It's like Minecraft, honestly. Like Minecraft
Yeah.
is another
Minecraft
game that I
is-
don't think will ever.
No, Minecraft will never die. I actually legitimately don't think.
I don't think they'll ever stop updating Minecraft unless they
No.
do something new. If Mojang does something different after, I don't know. They're doing other stuff, but it's always Minecraft centric. Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft.
If anything,
What was the one they did for the
Spirals are proving that they should keep to making
Minecraft
their
Legends?
sandbox game
Minecraft
better.
Legends? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. I could see them doing like a Minecraft MMO though.
That'll be funny as shit. I would love
I could
that.
see them doing like a
Dude.
all ages MMO style game.
So I didn't put on the list of games I've been playing.
Be bad, but-
literally,
Yeah.
literally just last night, I downloaded a mod pack, and I played it. That is a sort of thing like that. It's a base builder MMO style one, right? And like when you said that, I thought about that. I'm like, damn, I could see it because like this already feels so much more to what normal Minecraft is. You know what I mean?
I think
Like,
you're gonna see a lot of MMOs start to pop up soon. I think there's like, because there was that point where MMOs felt like sort of like a niche kind of thing. But I think you've seen it with like Destiny's like an MMO light. You've got Final Fantasy 14. WoW is still
yeah,
existing.
Guild
I don't know if
Wars.
it's going strong or anything. Guild Wars 2 is still around. You've got Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is still going, which is surprising because
That's still
wow.
going.
there are just some games that I just hear nothing about, but they've still got those dedicated people
Yeah.
still,
I'm
playing
sure
them.
there are boomers still playing off their CDs in World of Warcraft to this day.
Yeah, true.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, I know WoW Classic was really popular
Yeah.
when they went back, but now they've added like a gold store, and everyone's really mad because you can buy cosmetics in basically a remaster of a game from a decade ago.
Yep.
Blizzard, man,
Bro.
they know how to extract money from
Bro,
people.
can I make a call here? Do you think I want to ask this? Do you think Club Penguin will come back?
Wasn't it? I don't think so. I feel
Yeah.
like wasn't someone trying to get it where
Someone tried to get it working again. They tried to make like kind of.
they were
modded
trying to do like
servers.
private service with
Yeah,
Club Penguin,
but
but
do
I don't
you
think
think?
that took off.
Do you think they're gonna be like Club Penguin's back and they like reinvent it?
Okay,
Nah.
well, I looked up Club Penguin and there is a new Club Penguin.
Oh, there is. So it actually already is back. What?
That is an unfortunate URL.
What is the URL?
New.
Oh yeah. That's it.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate URL, bro.
Ooh, that's very unfortunate.
It's just the first letter of Club Penguin. New clubpenguin.net.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's not great.
That's not
anyway,
real, is it?
That's yeah.
I don't think. I think it's could honestly be a scam
That's a
fucking
meme.
URL. I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta say, I never played Club Penguin. I was never a Club Penguin.
I
was
played a
right
lot of it.
into it. Yeah.
I was into it, bro.
See,
but
I
it,
just
it
didn't
died with the
have-
rest of the Flash games, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just never played because I mean I had like a little bit of when it comes to PC gaming back in the day. I had a little bit of experience with like Age of Empires, a little bit of experience with RuneScape, and that's basically it. when it comes to PC games, just because I didn't have a PC that could run.
Mm.
You know, I didn't even know like PC gaming was like a thing. You know what I mean? Like it was like
Yeah.
You can play
it was
games
like
on the computer.
console was the thing. Like my
Mm-hmm.
Xbox playing Halo, that was the place that I was at. And it really wasn't like I wasn't on PC playing
I had
games.
games on floppy.
Man,
Yeah.
you were
Shit
ancient.
was popping.
I remember I used to play a lot on 360 as well, like 360 in that kind of era. That's kind of where I started. And I remember on YouTube, the only videos I knew exist on YouTube were like you guys remember from what's his name? It was how to be a ninja and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From what was it?
Yeah,
Nigga
shit,
Higa?
I don't know.
That's his name. That's his name. That
Who?
was his.
How to be a ninja?
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
no.
about.
The channel name. The channel name was like
Yeah, it was like How to Be Ninja or some shit like
it
that.
was like
Yeah,
how
I
to be
remember the
ninja, how to be a
videos.
gangster, stuff like that. That's all I
Yeah.
used to watch. And then one day, in like the suggest on the side was an Ant Venom Minecraft video, and that sent me down like a rabbit hole. And then that is where I kind of got into PC gaming. And I remember the PC that I played on Minecraft could not load jungles. So whenever I got
Oh,
to a
yeah,
jungle, I'll
yeah.
jump down to like 3 frames.
Oh, that was Ryan Higa.
that was Ryan Higa. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first Minecraft video on YouTube was, I believe it was Seen Anna's.
Oh,
Because it was very close after Minecraft like launched into beta.
Mm-hmm,
And I was like, dude, you can make like a dirt house and there's zombies at night. I was like, oh my god,
Holy shit.
it's endless. Like you could do anything in this game. And so I played it on my MacBook. And it ran okay. It was okay. It did. Yeah, the fans were fanning. Yeah, it was going off. But yeah, that was a special moment. Minecraft, man, good times
Minecraft?
back in the day.
Yeah, I think I started playing beta 1.3. My brother was basically just like, have you heard of Minecraft? I'm like, nope. He's like, I think you'd like it. And I was like, all right. And I played on his account. I didn't even know you could mine blocks because I hadn't even watched a video of it. I fell in a hole my first 2 minutes and I was like, oh shit, I got to start a new world.
Start again. I made a mistake. I fell. Yeah, dude. All those updates and like every time there was a new Minecraft update and like when they added the cave generation and when they added what were the crevasses like and all that, all those changes like
Yeah.
then I mean the
Dude.
Nether was, when did they add the Nether actually? I feel like
I
it was
don't know.
I remember when they
Sometime in
added
beta.
the Nether, right? I remember they added Nether, and I was there with my friend, and we entered the Nether, and I was like 11 at the time, and I was scared shitless.
it was scary, dude. That game could be scary,
and when,
man. If you
when
find
I
a
found
dungeon,
my first Nether fortress,
yeah.
I didn't realize those Nether fortresses. Well,
That was
like,
later. Like
Yeah, that was
the
quite a bit
Nether was
later.
super
That was?
boring
That
for a
was
long
late
time, where it
release.
was just like, it was just basically like
There's nothing there.
there was like netherrack, there was soulstone, and there was lava, and there were ghasts, right?
Yeah, it was actually completely devoid of anything really. Because
There was
it
nothing to
didn't-
do there, and then they
yeah.
slowly added stuff to it, and now it's like a core part of what you do in Minecraft. And
when they added the end as
there
well.
was
Yeah, there was some cool shit.
and you testing out the snapshots of like the new stuff coming was
Oh,
always
yeah.
so sick. Yeah. Good
The
times,
April
man.
Fool's snapshots I still test out every year. Those are so funny.
Yeah,
Those
that
are
You know,
last
so
I
one
don't
was
funny.
good.
think I don't think I really tested those too much, to be
My
honest. or
favorite
played them.
one is the infinite biome
Yeah,
one.
it was
That
ridiculous.
was such a good one.
It's
That,
like
that's
they like,
insane.
actually spent time on doing that. Like
yeah,
proper
it's insane.
time.
Do you know about that one, Jamie?
No, what did they do?
There was basically infinite biomes. You could just keep going to.
So
and
you could
yeah.
go through a portal that you make, and it would take you to a new universe it had completely new rules for seed generation, and like
Wait.
the ground could be made of like a completely different block, and yeah, it was like
Wait, that's
They-
crazy.
It's
basically
really
they took
cool.
the normal seed generation rules
Yeah.
and just threw random blocks in it and made it so massive mountains could appear out of random things, and yeah,
That's
It was
cool.
really cool. It was really.
They did
really
add
cool.
something, because remember when they added the extreme, not the extreme biome generation, but where
Yeah.
you could have like mountains to go to like
amplified,
max height,
amplified.
amplified. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love doing that. But yeah,
That-
no, I
that
never
shit was
did the
really cool.
April Fool's one where it was like you could have like the floor could be in the overworld could be fucking I
Yeah.
don't know, diamonds or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't
Diamond
know if this
Shit
was
like
like.
that.
I don't know if this is like the first ever kind of creepypasta S, but you guys remember Herobrine?
Herobrine.
Yeah, that
Yeah, man.
shit. That shit. That
Never
was
saw
that
him.
was yeah.
Never saw him. May not
Never
even
saw him.
exist. I don't even.
they're still patching him out of the game.
Yeah, it's every time at
Yeah.
the bottom, Herobrine removed.
Herobrine removed. Yeah, they keep saying it.
Yeah.
Do you think is Herobrine just like? Is that just bullshit?
Yeah.
Or was it
Yeah,
actually?
100%.
It's all
It's
just
like a
bullshit.
creepypasta.
Okay,
It's
good.
a creepypasta. Yeah.
You
Because
dot
I
'em
always
on the game
thought like
files.
there was like someone actually found Herobrine at some point, and they were
Yeah.
like, but it's just
No.
like a story.
Nah, it's
It would
just a
actually be
story.
cool if one day they added Herobrine.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like,
That would
it
be
was just
sick if
in the
one
patch
day
notes it
in the
just said
patch
added
notes it does
Herobrine.
one day in the patch note it does not say Herobrine removed. Like
it's like-
Yeah,
But
it's
it,
all
like
it's
he
fucked up text.
flashes, but like
Yeah,
for like half
yeah.
a second, so you're like gaslighting yourself. Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
exactly.
I really don't know.
They should do that
yeah,
for
like
like a Halloween
blocks
update.
moving and shit like that. Like your
Yeah,
house
yeah,
gets like
yeah.
rearranged stuff like that. Like your torches go to redstone and stuff like that. Yeah, like it's just really weird
Yeah,
shit.
dude. There's like they just keep fucking with you. Where like like you've got a farm and like the water turns into lava
Like
instead.
once
and it's
Yeah.
every
like-
5 hours, something happens. And
Something
like,
weird happens, right?
That's
or
probably
like
a mod. Someone has to have had to have
Oh
mod.
no,
there
there is
is.
mods. There
yeah,
is
there
mods,
has to be.
100%.
Oh
But
yeah,
I-
for Herobrine,
there was-
sure, but
yeah.
There was one mod I saw where basically all it was that while you were playing, you would see out of your corner eye just Herobrine standing there, right? And if you would like double take, he would disappear, right? And it would always screw with you because you would see him in the corner of your eye, but you didn't know. And you could do shit like that. It'd be cool. It would be very funny. But yeah.
remember Slender?
Oh,
flash-
that goddamn game,
that
the
Flash
8
game.
pages
Or was it
game,
Flash or
yeah.
just? I can't remember. It was.
No, it was real.
No, it
was
was a download. Yeah.
It was a download. Yeah.
Fucking
That
Slender.
shit was
We played that shit in class, man.
Yeah, that went through our school where everyone was playing Slender and no one could get what was it, the 5 letters or 10
it was
letters?
like 5 pages, something like
5
that.
pages. That's right. Yeah.
Dude,
Oh
was
wait,
there an ending
no, it
to
was
that
5
game?
at first, wasn't it? And then it went to 8 in the new one, the new Slender.
Isn't-
That's right.
What
Yeah.
happens at the end of that?
Maybe it was-
I actually have never looked up the ending.
I
of the
think
game.
it just
You have to get
says
to the
pages.
escape.
Yeah, you got to collect all the pages and then there's like an escape
Yeah.
to go to.
Cool.
I
And
never
that
did it.
final run is like hardcore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was dude. Dude, they made a Slender Man fucking movie. After
Yeah.
that.
I watched it.
I did not watch
It's
it.
bad.
Yeah.
It's
I
real
can
bad.
only imagine. They made like
Yeah.
a didn't they developer make like a proper like new Slender game like a few years afterwards where it was
yeah,
like
it
actually like
wasn't. That was actually pretty
produced
decent.
and it wasn't just
It was actually pretty decent. It wasn't actually.
Slender
It wasn't
the
good,
Arrival or
but it wasn't
something?
bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I would give it like a 70-ish. You know what I mean? Like it was not that amazing, but it wasn't that bad as well.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
bad horror games out there.
There is a lot. There
It's
is
a genre
lot.
that's like full of like a
Bro.
lot of there's a lot of good I'd say
like
good
movies.
indie. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's a really good point. Yeah, it's the same thing. I
Yeah.
mean, horror is difficult. Like
Yeah, for sure.
Horror is very difficult.
I can't even. There's not a lot of games that typically scare me. Like they scare me more than movies for sure because I'm like you're in it, you're doing it.
Dude,
but,
last
like,
night.
Bro, that was just jump scares, man. That was just jump. Bro, oh my god,
Yeah,
that,
no, but like
I can't wait to talk
actually
about
gets
that.
in, like games that actually get in your head.
Yeah. Actually gets in your head basically.
Instead of
like
just
that,
jump
yeah.
scares. You're like, that's just cheap.
Like maybe Outlast is
Yeah,
the one that I can kind
Outlast
of
is
think
the
of
last
where
one. Yeah.
because
There's a
Outlast 2
reason-
was not great.
There's a reason I
fine.
like psychological horrors so much. It's because like Outlast and stuff like that, it scares me, but it gets predictable. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh sure, yeah. By the end, I was like, oh, run from the fucking the ghost or whatever that's invisible.
Yeah.
I
But that
can see
first
they-
couple of hours, just the theming and everything.
Yeah,
it's like,
true.
this is
Outlast
creepy
had
as
the
fuck.
first like 3-4 hours of Outlast was real good.
That's a
Yeah.
great intro, actually. Outlast,
Y-
like
yeah.
opening 2 hours is really good.
It was.
I
really
think that's
good.
honestly like that's how you can know if a horror game's gonna be good if they can like set the tone really quickly, and Outlast does that.
It does it really well,
Dead
especially
Space
like
is
setting
another
up the
good one,
Dead Space is really good.
but Dead
That's-
Space isn't scary. Like
yeah,
especially when I played it, because I played like the original and then I played the remake. It's like I
It's
have
intense.
200 bullets. Like I've got so much ammo. I
I'll
am
be
just
right.
blasting.
Yeah.
fools. Yeah, and even Resident Evil 2 is there's some scary moments in that
it's
game.
intense. Resident Evil 4 is more action than scary.
Oh yeah, I mean, sorry,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 with like Mr. X.
Yeah,
That stuff
true.
was. I mean, when you're being chased, and like especially
it's-
in Resident Evil 2, when Mr. X is someone you can like incapacitate, but you're
Mm-hmm.
wasting ammo and you can just like run away from him.
Yeah.
That was always good.
That's
That
the
was a
thing I
good
like
time.
about the Outlast-esque games. They tell you within the first 5 minutes, don't bother fighting. You can't fight.
Yeah.
I like that because it instills this fear of like you can't do anything about this. You just have to get through it. Just
I think
forces you in.
I think Alien Isolation did a good job of like
Yeah,
the
that was a
mix
good
between
mix,
the two.
actually. Yeah,
where it
yeah.
is like you
Oh,
you
dude.
have defenses.
But they're
but-
temporary. They're not.
But they're very
permanent at
temporary,
all.
and you
Yeah.
maybe using them also like isn't the best move. Like it's that game's never actually like fully clicked with me. Like I've never finished it because it's also really long. It's like 20
no, I
hours.
didn't
and
It's
it's
really
way
long.
too long for a horror game.
Yeah.
But I always respected that part about it, where you get like certain items, like the flamethrower. I think you get a revolver, and there's some noisemakers that you can get. I appreciate that stuff where it breaks it up a little more than like Outlast, where it's just running or just
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, Outlast had penises.
It's true.
They
They
had
were
some
penises,
Thick
yeah.
cocks.
some real thick cocks.
Yeah, that game. There's not a lot of dicks in video games, but Outlast,
No,
like
there need to be more, to be honest.
Outlast has like they have all the dicks you would need in gaming.
Yeah,
just in that
exactly.
game. Yeah,
You want a game with dicks? Well,
Outlast is for
hentai,
you.
but yeah.
I was gonna say no. Actually, there are plenty of games,
Probably
Yeah,
quite a
with
18
dicks,
plus
games
but-
that have
yeah,
dicks.
there's quite a few. You
They're
can
not
literally go on
good,
Steam,
I'm
go,
sure, but
go to Steam, go to trending, you'll find some games with
Bro,
dicks.
that surely Valve has to do some kind of like moderation on that shit. I know you can like get rid of the
You can
18
get
plus
rid-
like
Bro,
X-rated
I don't
shit,
think-
but like,
I don't think you realize how many of those games actually exist.
well, the problem is like I turned off that, but now like Cyberpunk 2077 is censored on my list because there's a dick in
Aw,
that game.
dude.
Well, you know, there's sex scenes. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, Cyberpunk's okay. I just don't want to like see full penetration when I go to the Steam fucking screenshots, man. Like,
Immediately. And bro,
They
some of these
they do
games,
moderate.
bro, some
Yeah.
of these games
Every
are
game that
wild.
comes on, they look at.
Bro,
Valve's like, no, that's okay. Yep, that's okay. That's fine.
Fuda, that's
Show
okay.
that. Show all of that.
I think they have removed games for that.
They actually recently did a sweep of a bunch of asset flips and fully banned the developers off the platform. And they did it for
Shit.
AI stuff too.
Yeah,
Stopped
that's right,
stopped a
that's
bunch
right.
of AI generation. It wasn't like they made a statement like they're not fully banning the AI generation stuff. It's just when you're taking like your data set is just other people's work.
Oh yeah.
And you're just
yeah.
remixing it like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say. Speaking of like AI and generate, I'm kind of worried about where that's gonna go in the future. In games.
Oh, dude. Well, did you guys
Like-
hear about there were some modders for Skyrim who were using the voices,
voice
like,
lines?
the voice lines, and
So you can
making the
talk to it.
voices.
Or
Yeah.
were you typing messages or were you talking to it?
I think you were typing messages
Cool.
and they would respond, and then
Same
the
thing, by the
voice
way.
actors. The voice actors for Skyrim were like, "Hey, this is fucked up. Like, you can't do this. Like, this is like, well, it is.
Well, yeah,
Like,
I
you
just
can't-
think it's like you can't get the same outcome with AI generated voices that you can with voice actors. Like,
no.
it's
Definitely
always
not.
going to sound a little bit off.
Yeah.
For the modding community, though, that's a fantastic use case.
Oh yeah,
Um,
especially
Sure,
for the
that's
more.
true for like mods. For
Yeah.
like if they're doing like they do like there's been like story expansions for Skyrim and stuff like that where
Mm-hmm.
but
yeah,
obviously it's always just like text.
Grab the
because-
voice lines. There are some voice lines from the mod developers. They're bad. A lot
Sure.
of them.
Yes. Well, it's probably the mod
Oh yeah,
developers
no,
doing
no.
the
Well,
line
like
for themselves. Yeah.
Because the article that I read, the Skyrim people, the voice actors, they didn't like it because they were being used for not safe for work mods.
Mhm.
That's what they were getting
Right.
annoyed at. So that's what
Yeah.
they were getting annoyed at.
That's like that new Black Mirror episode.
I would say.
Which, like, if I
Is
was
there
a
like
voice,
is there deepfake shit in
The first
Black
episode
Mirror?
goes into the AI and defect shit. Yeah.
yeah, if I was like a voice actor and my voice was being used in an AI by an AI to moan, wouldn't
Well,
like
it's
that.
it's like when people do like deepfakes of people. It's like they're putting someone's face on a body that's not theirs and like
Yeah,
sexualizing
it's-
them and like using their appearance without their consent. Like
Yeah,
It's same kinda thing.
It gets real messed up real quick, right?
It's
It
definitely
really
a
does.
cool time and a place for the
the deepfakes.
not for deepfake, not for porn deepfaking,
No.
but
It's a cool time and place.
for
Yeah,
that
they-
sort of stuff in like I don't know. Yeah, I
Well,
guess
like-
the amateur
Well, I mean,
creation
obviously-
scene is the only real application because
Sure.
you should put real money and time into it if you're doing
There-
it professionally.
There has been talks about this is heavily theorized that eventually AI will get to a point in video games where you can have discussions inside of video games, right? Where like you can go to a person in a video game and say something, and an AI will talk back to you, basically, right, as a character.
Well, realistically, there's nothing stopping them from doing that now because we already
Yeah.
have those tools, but they're
Yeah,
just
do
not
you
being
think
put in video games.
do you think that will happen eventually? Do you think an actual developer will do that in a video game?
Yeah,
eventually?
sure. 100, 200 years, there'll be some
Yeah, bro.
ridiculous
At,
shit.
at
yeah.
some
Yeah.
point when we're long dead, there will be
Yeah.
you'll be putting a fucking microchip into your head to play the game, and you will just talk to this NPC, and they'll talk back and
Yeah.
have genuine conversations with them.
Or
Yeah.
you won't even be
Then-
talking. It'll just be all simulated in your brain. And you're
Yeah,
just sitting there
exactly.
dead.
I was gonna. Yeah,
You're
it's
sitting in
gonna
your
be-
chair like you're wide-eyed. You can see the screen in your eye. Like,
We're
Oh,
literally just
God.
Black Mirroring right now.
Yeah. This that reminded me a lot of Edge Runners. You know, like the first episode
Yeah.
of Edge Runners where he put the shit in his head and he just. all
oh
the
yeah,
visions
he's
and
watching.
whatnot.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mhm.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I obviously generate like asset generation, like procedural generation is fine, right? Because a lot of games do that. Starfield game coming out in September. The vast majority of that game is procedural generation. But I think with like
That's blurry to AI, but yeah.
AI,
It is.
AI art is a kind of a step in a direction that I don't know, especially when the data set is just other people's work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know, like-
that's where it gets bad.
Like if Bethesda got all of their artists' work, all their concept art, and then just dumped it into as a data set and just generated new concept art from that, that's a bit like
A bit
like-
shitty.
it's a bit shitty, right? Because it's like, well, instead of paying your concept artists, you're just taking their job away. You know what I mean? Like you're just replacing them with something that's very inhuman. And I feel like when it comes to art, the human element is kind of an important part of it. You know,
Yeah.
like I think you lose when you see AI art, you kind of lose part of the humanity of of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I'm definitely
I-
a big believer in AI not replacing a lot of jobs. I think it will replace a lot of jobs in the future, but not all of them. And then I think a lot of jobs, such as the ones we're talking about, will probably still like AI will definitely help and assist in making the job so much easier, but it will still need some human somewhere to curate what it's doing or make it
Yes.
just that finishing human touch to make it actually appear normal to another human. Otherwise, it kind of just, I don't know, ends up messy.
Sure. And I
I-
think as games start to get, insane budgets and they take so many years to make, you're going to start to see people have to find ways to lower that because I mean, you think about it, right? Like Starfield has been in development since 2015. That's a long time.
Long time.
Elder Scrolls
Nearly
6
10
is
years.
still in pre-production. It will be out when we're at over 30, right? Like we're going to be over 30 playing that fucking game like a bunch of old
If it makes
bitches.
their lives easier and it doesn't really make a difference, then
And so I
Yeah.
think there either needs to be like an industry-wide thing where they're like, we need to stop making all these games as like photorealistic as possible. Like just get like to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to spend 8 years fucking detailing the pubic hair on someone's ball sack for 1 second. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to do that. You don't need the horse testicles don't need to shrink when it's winter. They don't. I wouldn't even notice that if Rockstar wasn't fucking marketing that in Red Dead
ridiculous,
Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Like, oh, by the way, this horse takes shit and look at the testicles.
humans
Hey,
did that.
Look at someone made those shrunk testicles.
That's the
dude.
thing
Like,
is that someone actually sat down and made the testicle shrink. They actually had to like do that.
that was not needed. Like,
No.
great, cool detail, I guess, but I wouldn't have noticed. Like, it wouldn't have, I wouldn't have, if they didn't have the shrinking testicles, I wouldn't have been like, man, the testicles aren't shrinking. Like
Some
this
horse
game,
ranches
this
somewhere,
is
man.
meant to be a Wild West simulator, and I cannot see shrunk horse testicles. Like, this is not okay.
No. Not okay.
So I think there is a point where we're getting maybe too far in terms of simulating real life when it comes to video games. Like I think
Because-
there's a certain we're getting to the threshold where it's like, okay, this is enough.
Yeah, I think like because like I remember back for like when GTA 5 released, they're like all the details, and we'll be like, oh shit, the details are really cool and stuff like. And yeah, the details are really good.
When you
I
go into
feel like,
water and it like goes the water line is where you're wet.
Yeah,
on your
right,
pants,
yeah.
stuff like that.
And-
Yeah.
And then I think people are like developers keep going like, oh, the details really good, the details really good, and yeah, now it's getting to a point like, oh, the testicle shrink. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's like all these. It's like in Cyberpunk, you can have two types of dick. It can be circumcised, uncircumcised. You can be whatever you want. It's like, okay.
I think
some-
Red Dead
I
2
is
is still the pinnacle of that kind of detail.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But I think
100%, yeah.
because the problem, I think the problem with that is that like now, and this is kind of a me issue. When games don't do that, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
the water line, I can't.
Yeah.
The shorts, like when you
It's-
go in the water, you're fully wet, even though I only went up to my ankles. Like, I mean, come on, like this is not accurate, dude.
Yeah,
because
true.
I've seen it. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
now
has
that's
to happen.
that's the standard now,
But
right?
it's not in the realistic scope of a team of 20
Absolutely,
to 100.
absolutely not like some indie game developer making
Yeah.
this like pixel art thing. It's like, well, you can't expect that kind of detail from them, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate those like tentpole releases, like the Red Dead Redemption 2s, the Last of Us
Oh,
Part
yeah.
2s. But yeah, I think at some point, it's going to balloon to a point where it's like publishers are taking no risks because they're like, shit, this game costs $500 million to make. We need to make sure it's liked by as many people as possible. We can't take any risks. We have to make sure it's an open world action adventure game with skill points and text trees and NPCs and party members. And it's like, at that point, it's like every game is just going to be the same. Exactly. It's just gonna be every game is gonna be Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you also think about how big games are getting. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is like, if you want to play that game, all the content, it's like 300 hours. It's like,
No, I'm good.
bro,
I'm good, man.
I think games that are that long, like you play it, you're only gonna play it once. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna be like, I'm on my 7th playthrough of, I'm gonna be on my 7th playthrough of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and by the time you get to the end of it, it's like, well, I don't remember that random side quest where I had to pick up a pan or like some random like grab some eggs or some shit. Like
By the time you finish that, the next game's probably been out for 6 months anyway.
it's just busy work at that point. Like I think scaling down games wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's also like it's almost an industry expectation now when people are like, oh, the game's only 15 hours. Like, what's the point?
I would
That's
love
not...
I would love that.
Bro, more of those. I would love to, at the end of the year, be like, dude, I finished like 20, 15-hour games. Like,
sit down 3 times and play a game.
Exactly.
I like that's the thing is that like recently I've been going through kind of a rut, right? Because the issue is I look at a video game and I'll be like, okay, cool. Like this game, like this is like my problem with Sekiro, right? I started playing Sekiro. I did enjoy it. Like fuck, I need to spend like 70 hours to beat.
Oh,
this
it's not
game.
that long. Sekiro.
Well, no, Sekiro's like 30 to 40 hours,
I'd
right?
say Sekiro is maybe 40 to 50 hours, which is still on the long side.
It's still on the long side, and that's like kind of my issue, right? Because I really like I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, that's so much time, and I look at another game like, oh shit, that's like 60 hours, and I look at another game, right?
I could do maybe one of those, maybe 2 of those a year.
Yeah, right. That's the issue, and like I have been slowly clawing my way through Sekiro because I'm not doing it one sitting. I play a little bit. Yeah, I play a little bit of it, but like it's so much, and like we're old.
Like, we're not. We're like we are 23.
Yeah. Well, what I mean by
this
that,
is the perfect length for these games for you. Like you're good.
But what
like,
I mean by that,
you should be like, give me all these 150-hour games. Like
what I mean by that is that like when like when I played, well, like let me like an example is like GTA 5, right? That game, how long does it take to play the campaign of GTA 5? How long?
Like, I want to say like the main story's maybe 30.
Yeah, I reckon 30.
About 35. I could do that when I was 13 and whatnot. Sure. And like going on, the games are getting longer. Yeah, nothing better to do. But now, like getting a job and whatnot, games are getting longer and longer and longer because they're adding more and more detail to it. Like Red Dead 2 took like 70 hours to beat the main
I think
campaign.
Red Dead 2 might honestly be too long. Because that campaign is like, it's one of those games where it's like, here's an ending. Oh, no, actually, here's the ending.
Yeah,
actually, here's the part where you go to the island for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I guess we're going here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just games are getting too long, and I don't have the mental capacity to be able to sit down and play it for that long.
I mean, even this year, like I put 100 hours into Tears of the Kingdom. I've probably put close to 100 hours into Diablo 4. I put 40 hours into Final Fantasy 16. I put 20 hours into Dead Space remake and Resident Evil 4 remake, and they were actually a nice change of pace. Like I finished Resident Evil 4 in like it was a few days, and I was like, oh, that's nice. That was nice. I finished the game and I move on. And if you really love Resident Evil remake, there's so many replayability options there.
Yeah,
which is great. And I think I prefer that, where it's like, we're going to craft this really nice 20 to 30 hour experience, or even less, 15 hours, 15 to 20. And then there's like replayability stuff. Like in Resident Evil 4 Remake, there's like, you can play through on a harder difficulty, you can speedrun it, you unlock new weapons that make the game easier, but also you can up the difficulty. So there's like that cool mix between like difficulty, but also like feeling powerful with new upgrades that you could only get by playing it multiple times. When realistically, like, other games can't do that. Like Assassin's Creed can't do that, right? No, there's like no one is gonna play the game again back to back like 50 hours and then another 50 hours to you know, and even like Tears of the Kingdom, I'm probably not gonna play that again. You know what I mean? Like that's the one playthrough I'll do, and I really enjoyed it. But it's one of those things where I'll go back to 100% it, right? But I'm not gonna like in 3 years time be like, time to delete my save and start again. Like, it's a lot. It is a lot. Starfield is another example. Like, if that game is as big as they're saying it is, like, that's gonna be a lot. 100, easily 100+ hours or more. Baldur's Gate 3, another example. They said like the story is like a normal playthrough right now in the studio is 75 to 100 hours.
Holy shit!
A regular playthrough. It's like, bro, this
getting too long.
It is getting too long, but I will say in Baldur's Gate 3's case, I think that audience wants that.
No, well, yeah, 100%. Like, I am probably gonna play that because I love D&D, and that is it's literally video game D&D. That's literally what that is.
Yeah,
right?
I think the idea is like people would take like every weekend they would get their party together and play it as if they're doing a D&D campaign, but it's
it
Baldur's
literally
Gate 3.
would be. Yeah, literally.
So I understand that if it's like a long-term thing where it's not like you're doing it, like you're not playing 100 hours in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? You're doing it like 100 hours over like 6 months or whatever.
Exactly.
And there is a case to be said, like people can play Assassin's Creed Valhalla that way. But the other thing is like with the constant updates, like Valhalla has gone through like it's on like update 3.5 or whatever at this point. And they've added so much stuff, and there's like seasonal events, and there's like they've made it a live service game, even though it's a single player game. Like, there's a winter festival in that game. It's like,
why?
I mean, I appreciate it's kind of good. I guess it's good for the people who really want to exist in that game. But when you have like all these different massive RPGs, it's like at some point there's too many, and they're too long. There's too many. Bring them down a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would be okay with video games being like long if there's like very few, like the AAA games, you know what I mean? But like they keep pumping out these really long video games. I think it gets a little bit overwhelming, right? And
Definitely
then it gets to a point where like I don't want to play any of them because as soon as I finish this 100-hour game, I just have to go to another one, right? And that's like the mindset like I'm stuck in. But probably
I'm honestly, it's probably a good issue to have where it's like there's too many good things to play and there's too much, and then you add movies and TV shows and you read books and you read comic books, you listen to podcasts, you listen to music. Like there's too much. There's like not enough time in like a lifetime for all this stuff. Like it's just like you got to pick and choose your battles.
Don't worry. Once AI gets to the point where we put a chip in your head, you get it all done in one go.
You just sleep and you're just inheriting the fucking information.
Yeah.
And there's people out there that touch grass as well as trying to do that.
Yeah,
shit.
and that's not even including the fact that that's all just tertiary entertainment stuff. Like that's not even just like actually going outside and existing in society. Like having a job,
Exactly.
Yeah, there's too much. There's
too much. Yeah, it's insane.
And then you see people on like threads who have been like they go on threads for 6 hours a day. I'm like, bro, what? How is anyone going on social media for 6 hours a day, bro?
Yeah,
like, that's addiction.
Yeah, because like the thing is like there's so many good things that come out of, like video games as well, and like now I would talk about overwhelming with like Xbox Game Pass and stuff like that, being able to access all of these games.
Yeah,
easily,
that does not help.
Right?
Yeah, it's the access to games as well, where it's like it's a positive, but it's also a negative. Where it's like, bro, my backlog like balloons up to like double with like all the stuff that's on Game Pass and even PS Plus Premium or whatever. Like the Nintendo Online service, like too many things.
Yeah, It's literally the DJ Khaled meme of suffering from success. That's literally what it is right now.
That's the thing is like it's gone to the point now where games are the entry to develop games, the barrier is so much lower than it used to be. Where that's why you're seeing so many games come out. Like so many games that we don't even hear about. Like so many indie games that come out that we will never hear about, right? And that's the thing is like, like a good example of an indie game that has broken through is like, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, Dave the Diver. Really, really interesting, like jack of all trades, but like master of all of them kind of thing where you're fishing, you're hunting, you're doing boss fights.
Yeah,
there's
you run a restaurant.
You're making sushi. Like it's all these random like cool mini games. It reminds me of Yakuza, where there's like these cool mini games, but they're really well designed. And I bought the game. I haven't played it yet, but that's gonna be my July game, I think. Once I finish Final Fantasy 16, I'm gonna start being Dave and I'm gonna go diving because it looks really fun. It looks great. It's on Steam. It just left early access, and I think it's like $20. So it's
pretty cheap as well.
And it's like a 30-hour game, so it's a decent, a decent amount of game, but also not too much. So I appreciate that stuff. Got to support indie games,
Oh yeah, you gotta support
because it's so easy for them to get lost in the crowd when there's like every month there's like a massive AAA game coming out. But there's a lot of good indie game stuff out there.
There is.
Speaking of indie games.
All right.
Yeah, we've been on this conversation for a while.
We ranted, but it was good. It was good stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? We're still Summer Game Fest seems to never end.
Never end.
And a day before when last week's podcast would have happened, Annapurna, Interactive did a showcase. They specialize in a lot of cool indie games. They published Outer Wilds, so they do a
okay.
lot of cool stuff. And whenever they're showcasing new games, I typically listen because they're similar to Devolver Digital, where it's like they've got an eye for good indie developers, and so yeah, I wanted to highlight their showcase essentially. So I don't know how much of this have you guys seen? How many of these games have you seen?
I did not see anything, so it's brand new for me.
Yeah, so this one's weird, right? So the first one, this is called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, which I like the name.
That's cool.
I gotta say, this trailer really doesn't give me a lot.
Yeah, there's not much in it.
It's sort of just like an intro to kind of the vibe of the game. No release date. A lot of these indie games don't have release dates, and they're not even like 2024. So I feel like they're a few years away.
There's like concept teasers.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of consistent with how indie games kind of present their games, where they're like they don't want to put dates on it and continually delay it, which makes sense. But I kind of dug this looks like it's going to be kind of like a psychological thriller kind of game where it seems sort of weird and vibey. And I will say a lot. The theme of this showcase is a lot of weird, out there kind of games that you would kind of never expect a AAA developer to make, which I can always appreciate. Actually, yeah, this one looks cool. It's on my radar now, but it's not. I wasn't like immediately like, oh, I need to follow the developers on Twitter and find out every update about this game. But
yeah, this is cool.
I like creepy stuff. And there's a grandma in a wheelchair. That's creepy.
Yeah, dude.
What's she doing?
Oh,
she
red eyes.
She didn't
Damn.
like what I told. She didn't like what I said about her. But yeah, no, it looks cool. And they keep repeating. What did they repeat? It was like, yeah, do you remember the maze? So
that's cool.
I'm not sure
No,
if it's a
I
maze
like that.
game. I don't know if it's a maze game.
That's just it. You're just going through a maze. That's it.
No, it's a
That's
puzzle something. That's
Yeah.
what they
Yes.
said in the in
Yes,
the
there
audio.
are some puzzle mechanics. A game that we have actually talked about and seen a lot of actually is Cocoon.
Yes.
Which has a release date now, which is September 29th. Very excited for this one, actually. This
This
one's
is
coming
really
to Game
cool.
Pass. It's by the lead game designer for Inside and Limbo is working on this. And I mean, since it got announced, I believe last year, I've always been interested in checking it out. I really love how that animation when you go
Where you go out of the world, it's really cool.
outer worlds,
Out of worlds.
outer worlds. Yeah, no, it looks great. And what I was surprised by this kind of showing is that there are boss fights, which I wasn't expecting. I was sort of expecting more of like a Limbo Inside kind of vibe, but it seems like it's going to be a lot more gameplay focused and like actual boss fights and some kind of management system. And yeah, no, it looks cool. I'm very excited for.
Yeah, it looks
Cocoon.
really cool.
That one's in your
really
fantasy critic, isn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's going to score well.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick.
I saw the game designer's previous games. I'm like, how
Gotta
can you
pick
go
it.
wrong?
Pick it. How can you go wrong? This game actually looks really cool. I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to be my vibe, but it's a Lushfoil photography sim. You're looking at this, like it looks fucking real.
It looks
like it's
beautiful.
completely photoreal. Like it's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's insane that an indie studio has made this.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, man. It looks completely real. And I guess the idea is you're just going around these environments, taking photos, and that's the game.
That's cool.
Like, they just go through some really pretty environments from an engine, like, or not they made these.
I'm sure they made
environments.
these. Yeah, they didn't just
you know
like
what I mean.
asset flip them from like the Unreal Store.
But that's what it reminds me of, like an engine demo, but
Yep.
it's actually a game that you can play and like, well, it's a simulator, but
Yes.
it's something.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and I appreciate. This is what I think the best thing about indie games is that someone is obviously really passionate about photography, and they were like, "Hey, what if we made a game for the people out there who want to get into photography, who want to take really cool fucking pictures, but they can't travel to the fucking mountain ranges and all this stuff? So like, hey, let's give them these cool environments." There is, I don't know, it feels like there's other stuff at play in this trailer. Like, it doesn't look like it's just a simulator. You know what I mean? Like, because there's people move, like there's actual characters, and like
Yeah.
there's a guy holding an umbrella. So I'm not sure if there's like more to this.
The horror
Do
game.
you think it's like an engine thing where you can move assets around and do shit, or do you think it's completely as it comes?
Maybe.
And you live in the world kind of deal?
I'm not sure. I wonder
Yeah.
if it's like there's like a story involved with this, and like it's
Yeah, there might be a slight one.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
It's really cool.
I don't know. It's funny. Not listening to the music, it actually gives me a creepy vibe. Just
I
Yeah.
was
hearing
gonna say,
this.
like
Like
at
it
the
actually
end
gives you
there,
like a horror vibe, like it's leading up to something,
Dude,
but it's not. Like I'm assuming it's not. Like it's just
at
like
the end there, where I saw the guy standing in the field looking out, like, oh, that's actually kind of creepy.
it does. It gives me a kind of creepy vibe. Like I don't know what to
Mm.
expect, but yeah, no, this looks cool. I appreciate indie devs who are clearly passionate about one thing and they're like, hey, let's make a cool game out of that.
Yeah, that's some horror elements.
I'd play the
Talking
shit out
about
of that if that
I-
were on Game Pass.
Yeah,
yes,
it's not on
yeah.
Game Pass,
Sometimes with indie games, it's like
Yeah.
hard to
I'm not buying that, though.
foot the
No.
price, but
Yeah.
it's when it's on Game Pass or some kind of subscription service, it helps out for sure
Mm-hmm.
with access to those games. This game, to a T, you are a boy who is always T-posing, said Ben. So, and he's very self-conscious that he is the only person in this town that is T-posing. It's by the director of Katamari Damacy, which is like also a very quirky, weird Japanese game that was very popular on PlayStation in like I want to say the PS3 era. And this is kind of consistent with that, where it's really strange and like this guy is singing about his life and like how he's really unhappy about T-posing, but then they're like, no, you're the perfect shape. You're a T. You're good. And I don't know, man. It's very weird.
It's a nice message, but like it's.
I'm just not sure what the game is.
Yeah, what's the game? Yeah.
Yeah, what's
It
the
seems like
game?
you can fly.
can
I
fly?
think this is just like a vibe. It's a vibe showcase. You know what I mean? It's just showing you like it's just an announcement of this game is coming, and it's a cute kind of vibe. And if you like Katamari, you're probably gonna like this too. But why is there a giraffe person? There's a lot of I've got a lot of questions, and I'm gonna need answers. Like, see, the dog is a dog, but the giraffe is a man giraffe.
Person.
Like it's a humanoid giraffe. So, it is on Game Pass too. So I'm
cool.
definitely gonna play it.
Oh,
Yeah.
go
I'm
play it
definitely
then.
checking it out.
Yeah, I'll
because
play it then.
I am intrigued by it. This is probably the only game that they showed that I wasn't super keen on. It's called Flock. No disrespect to the game, it's just the way they presented it. They did the Ubisoft thing
Yeah, they
where it's like because it's so Ben. Essentially, this is a game where you control a flock of birds, but
Okay.
it's co-op online, so you can fly with your buddies with their flocks as well. But the thing is, the way they presented this is the two people were talking as if they're like in-game
Oh
chat.
no, yeah, like
But,
it's
like,
the
French.
Wildlands. It's like the
it's a little,
Wildlands. Yeah.
it's a little more endearing and less like corporate cringe.
It's a
but
little
it's
more
still-
Discord and less like Army Sim.
Yes, but it's still there is a little bit of like when they've got to be quiet around the bird, they actually whisper, and I'm like,
yeah.
I get it. I understand you want to like immerse people in the experience when you're showcasing a game, but it doesn't give that effect. It's like you're
No,
just
it's a
kind of
little
making
cringy,
up
right?
this experience that people aren't going to have when they're playing the game necessarily. It looks cute enough.
Oh, you're
it's-
riding a bird. Oh,
Yes. Sorry, you are riding a big bird, and there are other birds that you've captured and tamed behind you.
oh, okay.
And it looks like there's like a farm element. Like you have there were like sheep birds, right? And that you'll see them in a little bit. So this is the charming mechanic where you need to be like close enough to them to not like for them to lose interest, but you don't want to be too close, otherwise they'll fly away. And so it's like this back and forth of trying to like tame them for your flock. This is not. I don't think this is any of our vibes at all. Like I don't necessarily think this is not what I'm looking for when I play games. But
Is it Game Pass?
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna say that looks like a
It's a fucking cocksock.
that
That's a
looks like a
cock
dick.
talk, but
I'm gonna be honest. I actually at this point, when I stopped watching this because I was like, this is already not for me. But I can skip to the end and I'll see.
yeah, if it's Game Pass, I'll play it. If it's not, then no.
Really, it is a Game Pass.
It is.
Cool,
there
I'll
you
play it.
Why?
Well, one of us needs to play it, so I'll play it.
I mean, I guess
You gotta
is
find
the
another
idea,
person to play
is the
with
idea
you.
that three of us need, all three of us need to play every game that releases?
Don't worry, Shadow and I will play it. I'll give a rating on it. Don't worry.
Okay. The next game, which looks cool. A lot of these are not really showing me what it actually is. This one's called Ghost Bike. You're riding a bike and there's a ghost at the front of it. I
Damn.
like the art style,
That's cool.
I gotta say. But yeah, I'm not really sure what you're doing. I feel like maybe they announced these games a little too early where there's not a lot of like... I mean, obviously you're riding the bike. You ride the bike.
Yeah.
You're
where's the
racing.
loop?
I guess you're racing people. And then-
is this like cycling simulator where you're just racing people? That's it.
There's
I'm
got to
not
be some sort
sure.
of gameplay element. That
There's a
makes
mechanic behind it because I think the
Yeah.
ghost is powering up the bike there.
Yeah.
You know, but I really enjoyed like the environments are awesome. Like I love how this looks. It's very unique looking.
I
But yeah, I'm
assume
not
it's
sure.
more than just press button and go for 20 minutes and, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't show a lot. That's the whole trailer at this point. It pans out and says ghost bike.
Just goes back.
So
speak.
flying around with you, cycling around with your ghost buddy, cool. I
God, I
guess
love Ghost Bike.
it is also coming to Game Pass. I love that. I think a lot of these games are Game Pass, which is cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that.
That's always a good thing.
They're probably all
this
pushing
ga-
for it.
Yes, this game caught my eye because I'm into it. It's very Titanfall-esque. It's called Bounty Star. The only reason it's Titanfall-esque is because you've got a mech. You've got a mech with you. And essentially, it's like a part of it is like an action adventure, like you're fighting in your mech, and the other part is kind of like a farming sim kind of vibe, like
That's
you're
cool.
upkeeping your farm. I
Thought
like
it kind
I
of
like
looked like a mobile game. Not gonna lie.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it does give the vibe a little bit, but I do it like the gameplay looks fun. Like it looks like when you're fighting, it looks cool. Like it looks kinetic.
Yeah, I'd have to feel it. I can see
Yeah.
it definitely
Cool.
not feeling good.
Yeah, if it feels good, I feel it would do well, and if it has a good loop. But otherwise,
Yeah, I'm wondering how these two connect, like the action part of it, but also the part where you're taking care of your farm.
you're taking over like your little warehouse. Okay.
Yeah, like you're upkeeping it. And I'm assuming you're getting new upgrades to be able to upgrade your mech. And you can customize your bedroom. It's got that vibe of like a lot of indie games where it's like it's cool action stuff, but it's also wholesome at the same time. Where there's
Yeah.
there's kind of a vibe to it. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. Yeah, see, this is farming. Nathan, you love farming.
Yeah, but where's the loop? Like, what's the loop for?
Yeah. What's the loop? Yeah. Is this like a Cult of the Lamb situation where you go out to do
Well,
like
it looks
a
like you
roguelike-esque?
farm to get. You're using like organic parts to then make parts for your mech
Yeah. So well, like. Yeah.
and food. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
If this is like a Cult of the Lamb, I feel like it would do well. But if it's not, I don't know.
I like the
because-
colors. Like I like it looks good. Like,
Yeah.
there's some. I think there's some good artistic choices here.
Mm.
But I would love to see like what the full loop is. Like what, I sit down to play the game. What does the first 2 hours look like?
Yeah.
But once again, this game's kind of far away. It's a 2024 game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll find out about it. It's on Game Pass too. So
Yep.
there you go.
Always
Man,
a good
I didn't
thing.
realize how many of these. Because I didn't actually check like platforms so much, but a lot of these are Game Pass, which is great.
Yeah.
It's cool.
This game gives me what's that movie with the exes? The
Yeah,
exes, the
XXX?
seven, no, the like the ex girlfriend and boyfriends, and it's Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Oh,
This game, Thirsty Suitors, reminds me of that because it is literally about you taking down your exes, essentially. So it's that same vibe. This game is fucking weird. I gotta be honest. This game looks strange as hell, and like there were Power Rangers, and
Yeah, I'm
I-
seeing the Scott Pilgrim vibe there.
Yeah,
there is
I'm
a lot
definitely
of
seeing it.
weirdness to it. And you can like fight or flirt with your exes. And there's a lot. There is a lot to take in on this. This game comes out November 2nd.
What the fuck?
It's yeah. Yeah. It's also
Skateboarding.
skateboarding. I like the skateboarding. Hopefully that's like a,
Oh, is that the
a
bear you're
decent
talking about,
mechanic.
Oh, the Baldur's Gate 3 you're talking about.
The bear.
There's a bear
yeah, the
there.
bear, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you can do that to the bear in this game.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Once again, I'm not sure. Like, are you skateboarding around the town and then to find your exes, or is it like a mechanic, like a small mechanic? But you're battling your exes, you're disappointing your parents, and you're finding yourself. So there you go. I don't
Everyday
know.
life.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. When is it coming to? Thirsty Suitors coming to? Where's it going? What's it releasing on?
Is it Game Pass?
It is on Game
It's
Pass.
Game Pass. There you go.
Classic. I'd say the one game that I was fully sold on, and this is why they left it to the end, is Blade Runner 2033 Labyrinth, which, fuck yeah, dude.
Bro, this game could
I'm
be so good.
I'm surprised it's taken this long for there to be a Blade Runner game because I mean, with Cyberpunk, feels like it's a very rich world to explore in a video game. I'm curious with Annapurna making this game because I'm imagining the scope will be quite reserved. Like it's not going to be, you're not going to be like in an open world environment, like going around like a night city or whatever.
The vibe I get from it is that because he's using that memory computer thing,
I think you're going through
get like either segments of a big story or a bunch of different small stories.
sure, like an anthology kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the vibe that it's like you're trying to uncover a mystery via these videos that you're experiencing. And maybe the memories are something you actually play.
Different. So yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So
Yes.
it's like different people's small stories all coming together to one conclusion at the end. Yeah.
Which reminds me of Her Story, which was that game where you're watching the interviews and you're piecing together the story, which fuck yeah, dude. That sounds awesome. Like I hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
I believe the story setup for this is that you are a, what are they called? What's like Harrison Ford's character? Like what are they called? His job, what he is.
It's like the, oh my god,
Replicant.
replicants. Yes.
This replicant is it's telling the story of what a replicant does after their
You got the wrong video. GTA 5.
GTA 5 joins Game Pass.
Pass. Oh my god.
I just looked at the title.
Well, GTA 5. Wait, GTA 5 on Game Pass? Really?
It is on Game Pass now.
Yeah.
Not
There you
PC,
go.
just consoles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a replicant when they after they're done for service. Like so they're yeah. So I'm interested. Obviously, Blade Runner loved 2047, 2049.
2049.
Yeah.
The sequel. I didn't really enjoy the original that much, but I did enjoy the sequel.
Pretty sure it's 2049.
And yeah, I'm excited for this. This is after for anyone who's a Blade Runner fucking
Blood Runner?
Bro, I'm already fucked up from the GTA video that showed up before. Like I don't know what's going on. For any Blade Runner nerds out there, this is after the Blackout, which is an event that happened after Blade Runner the original, and then it's talked about in Blade Runner 2049, and now it's in Blade Runner 2033. So looks cool. Love Blade Runner. Love the world. Love the vibe.
Sorry,
What are you doing?
My camera's fuzzy. My
Bro,
camera's
it looked
fuzzy.
like I was in the fucking womb for a second, bro. What was that?
My camera's got really fuzzy all of a sudden. I don't know why. It got really out of focus. We had to deal with it for
Holy
a
shit,
bit.
we are falling apart. What have we been playing? Who wants to go first? Do we want me? Do we want Ben? Do we want Nathan? What are we thinking?
I think we'll leave what you and Nathan are playing to last.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think I'll start. I'll start with Deep Rock. I'll start with Deep Rock.
Okay.
So yeah,
What have
Deep Rock
you been
Galactic.
doing in Deep Rock Galactic?
So, like we played it before on Game Pass, right? God, this camera's blurry as shit. We played it before on Game Pass, right? And I think we enjoyed it. I forgot why we stopped, but we basically
I enjoyed it enough, but I feel like it got repetitive, and I wasn't enjoying the loop as much towards the end, where we were doing sort of the same activities. And it may be different now, but yeah, a lot of I mean, it was like moving the payload with all the stuff in it, and
yeah,
It just wasn't varied enough in what you were doing, I don't think.
yeah. So yeah, I bought it
Exciting, at
on.
least.
I bought it on Steam. And I've been playing through it. And yeah, like those are like kind of the base loops. So the ones you have collect the eggs. You have one where you have to basically collect some crystals and place it. There's boss fight one where you have to go kill a boss basically. The escort mission, which you just talked about. And then collect some ore. There's a couple like special ones that happen, but those are like the starting 5 you get. And basically, the new season that came out, what they actually brought out was these modifiers that come out with it. So you can get it to where different modifiers where there's new enemies that come in, because there's now, like, except for having just the bugs, there's like these robots you can fight as well, and there's like an infection basically. Like this is called the lymphode, which is basically what this is what you're seeing right now, what you're fighting. And there's a bunch of cool shit that you can do, and they added one called deep dives, where I was talking about this last night with you, Jamie, where basically. It's kind of like raid-esque, where you have 3 levels that go back to back with each other. Your resources and whatnot carry over. So if you like use some supply drops, you won't get it for the next one, and you go through the rest. And at the end, there's a little boss fight. You get some really good shit out of it, basically, right? This game is actually really, really fun. It is really enjoyable.
Like, so you get good stuff out of it. Like what?
That's the thing that always got me. What for? Why?
Yeah.
So-
What's the purpose? What do I get?
So, there are a couple of different systems that you can go through. So, The main systems that are going to affect your gameplay are perks. You can get different
Sure.
perks and whatnot, so you can get stuff where like you like revive faster, or you can get somewhere you go like a berserk mode and you melee, you do more melee damage, so and so forth, right? You could also do other stuff where you can upgrade your class and whatnot, and you get like different perks and whatnot for your guns. You could also get different guns and stuff like that as well. So like for the gunner, you have a minigun starting off with. Then you go to literally like an AA gun, and then you go to a missile launcher that fires multiple missiles that where you look, the missiles get tracked to, right? So you get a bunch of different guns that have different upgrades that actually change how the guns actually work themselves. Um, and each class is different as well, where you can like upgrade the class features and stuff like that. So like for gunner, you have a zip line. That's like your main ability. The camera's fixed. You have a main ability, and you can have it where you can move faster, or you don't take fall damage, or you fall off of it, and so on and so forth. There is skins and stuff like that you can get as well. So that's like cosmetic on the side. You can see some here. One gameplay regression, which is actually very funny, I didn't realize how much I would like to fix, is you know how you can drink beer in this? Basically, in your main space rig, you can go and drink beer.
Sure.
You can get different licenses which actually give you perks and whatnot when you get them. So if you get a license, you can get a beer that gives you more health. You can get a beer that can allow you to have like run faster and stuff like that. So there's like a bunch of cool stuff like that you can do. And the game itself is just it is fun. It is fun to do. You go around, you have all these different missions, and the missions when you get in the higher difficulties get really, really hard. They get really
I think
hard.
what happened was we stopped playing, like we were on like maybe the second difficulty, and it was pretty easy.
Yeah,
most part.
third, fourth, and fifth, especially fourth and fifth difficulty get really tough because
Is that a
like
battle pass?
yeah,
Yeah, it
there
looked
is
like
a there no there is a battle pass, but a battle pass is completely free. It's completely free.
cool.
It goes in and it goes with the seasons, which are free as well, and you basically just go through the battle pass, mainly skins.
Is it
and stuff you
FOMO
can
where the
get.
battle pass goes away at the end of the season?
I don't
assume
think
so.
so. No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that the battle pass you can grab later. You can like go back to the old battle pass, right? But yeah, this game very fun. You can see going in here. So like this is one of the boss areas you can go into, and there's a giant mob that you can fight that thing, which can get very overwhelming pretty quickly. But yeah, no. Overall, the game is it's very fun. I don't like it's definitely more fun with friends and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's a Left 4 Dead-esque game where you play with your friends. It's a lot of fun. Luckily, the community is really good where you can constantly find servers and whatnot to jump into. And yeah, overall, the game is it's quite fun. I'm only about 10 to 15 hours into it, so
Sure.
I don't really have too much, but I've nearly unlocked all the gunner stuff, and then I'll move on to the other classes later. But yeah, no, I would say overall, game is very, very fun.
Cool.
Mm.
Good stuff.
It's good shit. Jamie, you want to talk about Final Fantasy?
I will talk about Final Fantasy. Yeah, so obviously at the beginning of the podcast, I said there are a lot of really high highs in this game, in Final Fantasy 16, but there are some lows. So I'll talk about the lows first. So in the game, you have the main story quests, right? The MSQs, which is the same kind of verbiage they use in Final Fantasy 14. Same team, so it makes sense. And you have side missions, and then you have hunts as well. So the thing with the side content in the game is that, especially the side missions, sometimes you'll get a really, really great side mission that has like a character that you've been chilling with for a while, and they tell part of their story, and it adds more to your dynamic basically with them, which is great. Love the story stuff there. Other times you'll get a single like a side mission where it's like, okay, I need you to go grab 3 flower buds from this location and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go get the flower buds, and then some enemies attack you, and you kill the enemies, and you grab the flower buds, and then you come back, and then they give you some XP, and that's it. So there's 100, I believe there's 100 side missions in the game, and I would say the majority of them so far have been on the end of like the bad kind of filler end of the thing. And I think that's kind of a symptom of the fact that this is a team that makes an MMO, and so the content they're making is, similar to an MMO. So you do get a lot of those side quests that aren't necessarily that interesting. Of course, you can just be like, hey, I don't want to do the side quest. So like, I would recommend for people playing this game, the only side quests I would say definitively you should do are the ones that have the plus symbol. And the plus the side quests that have the plus essentially give you something new. Like it could be a new mount, it could be a new mechanic, something important that is really should be part of the main story quest, but they kind of put it on the side for some reason. Anyway, the other thing that surprised me so far about the 40 hours I played with this game so far is that even some of the main story quests have that kind of MMO kind of just fetch quest kind of thing.
The feel, yeah.
It's forming into kind of a like there's a lot of repetitiveness in terms of the way it works, where it's like start. So there's an issue. We need to fix this. Go to this location. Talk to the people. Do 3 quests there to kind of work out what's going on. Solve the issue. Go do kind of a main story quest where you go to an area that's only available for that main story quest. Fight a fucking awesome boss fight. I'm telling you, man, the boss fights in this game are some of the best and some of the most visually spectacular I think I've experienced in a game before.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the lead up to them that is so just kind of like, like I'm not like loving what I'm doing 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent, the boss fights live up to the weight to them, and I'd say like every 3 to 4 hours there is a moment that's like this is like one of the most insane, ridiculous, crazy moments in a game I've ever seen. And like when I tell you, like I just did a fight with an icon, which are essentially what you're seeing here. Like the icons of I talked about it the first time. They're like essentially like the WMDs of this world, where they're like the dragons in Game of Thrones, where when an icon comes out, a lot of people are dying.
Mm-hmm.
And those icon fights where you're in an icon form, you're fighting another icon, just like you can tell that's where they put basically all of their energy into this game, where like those are consistently the best moments in the game. And they're the moments I'm going to remember at the end of the day, even though there are some filler side quests, which, as I said, I don't hate. They're just like not necessarily super exciting from a narrative perspective. Like when you're doing combat, like the combat in this game fucking rules. Like it's awesome. Like using the different abilities, switching back and forth, finding new builds. But yeah, it's definitely, there are lows. There are parts where it's like the pacing of this game, it's not paced as well as say like a God of War or even even not necessarily a Tears of the Kingdom. Like, and I think it's the thing of like when a Japanese studio tries to do what Sony's doing with God of War, Last of Us, even Horizon, when it comes to pacing, they're just not hitting that same standard, that same mark. Mm-hmm. That being said, I still love this game. It will still probably end up being in my top 10 of the year, but it is not like, I don't think it's the slam dunk that I was expecting it to be going into it as much. That being said, not done with it yet, and I've heard that it gets better and better, and the story is ramping up to a point where I'm like, I'm really digging these characters, these party members. And yeah, I think the story overall, like what is happening narratively, taking away from the filler kind of quests, still fantastic, still great. And the game's score is like insanely good. Like it's ridiculous. It's
that was one thing I was going to ask you is that I heard the score is really damn good. I heard it's really good.
It's there's not been a bad song. Like there's not been a bad track the entire time. Like it's always been on point. It's always the battle music, which you will hear a lot, is fucking awesome. And so like it immediately gets you into the mood of like fighting, and like it just you feel really strong when you're playing. And it looks gorgeous. Like the thing about this game is like these cutscenes look as good as the CGI cutscenes for like Final Fantasy 13 back in like 2009 when that game was coming out. Like the real-time cutscenes look as good as that when they were just like rendering them, you know, pre-rendered cutscenes. Like insanely, like the production value overall is really, really good. I just think, the pacing is just, it's not my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic. And honestly, like Clive, the voice actor for Clive, he will be nominated this year for best actor for sure, easily, for sure. Like he'll probably, I'm honestly like thinking of other characters this year so far, like I think he'll probably win it, to be honest. Like unless like I'm trying to think, maybe the guy who does Spider-Man or Miles Morales in Spider-Man 2, maybe the guy who plays the main character in Jedi Survivor. But there hasn't been a lot of like standout voice actors this year, unless I'm forgetting someone.
True. No, I agree. From like what I've seen, there hasn't been that many. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the voice actor who's playing Clive Ben Starr is fucking phenomenal. Probably the best Final Fantasy voice acting I've heard, to be honest. Really good, really solid stuff. And And I honestly don't take my negatives on the side missions as like a you shouldn't play this game.
Play it, yeah.
Because I think if there was ever a game that would get people into this franchise, this is the game. Because it is moment to moment, it is so fun to fight, and the story is so good that it's definitely more on the higher end than it is on the lower end. It's just like it's not it's not Tears of the Kingdom, where that game like for I would say 95 hours I was enjoying it. So that's all I got to say about Final Fantasy 16. It's really fucking good though. It really is.
I heard it's really good. I heard that it's a really good game.
Dude, there is like, as I said, there was a moment that I experienced that I was like, how is this even real? Like, how the fuck did they do this? My PS5, dude. So I haven't had the overheating thing yet because people said the PS5s were overheating when they were experiencing certain things in the game. Have not had that happen yet, but it is getting like the fans are fanning.
They're fanning.
And I've never heard it that loud before, but playing this game, like I can see why it's that loud, bro. It's like they are cooking in this game. They're fucking cooking, and the PS5's cooking as well. So it's great stuff. And I think honestly, anyone who was probably going to play Final Fantasy 16 probably already playing it. So
yeah, true, exactly.
It's really fucking good though.
Yeah. Okay. Before you go on to talk about Dark Pit Anthology, I quickly have one game that I have thrown on here. So this should only take me like 1 minute to talk about. I don't have any video for it. Oh, you don't have to worry about video. Because it's literally I played. It's called On Garde. Basically, I've been watching this game for a while. There was a gameplay demo that came out recently for it that was like 15 minutes long, really short. Basically, all On Garde is it's think about like Souls-like with elements of like a Jack Sparrow cross like.
I'm gonna grab a video.
You gonna grab a video? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see.
You can basically
Keep talking. It's alright.
Yeah, basically that's all the game is. So you're basically playing as I forgot her name, but you're basically playing as a girl that is going through, and there's a guy named El Vigilante who is teaching you like the basics of the gameplay. This game is really cool because it has.
I love the art style. Holy shit!
It's really good. So you're about to get to the combat, but basically the combat in the game is very similar to it's Dark Souls, right? Dark Souls with Sekiro into it. So there's a lot of dodging. You're parrying a lot. So like here you can Okay. Oh my! We always find the shittiest gameplay.
I mean, he's learning the game, man. He's learning, man. He's dying on the tutorial, dude.
But the thing I love about this game so much, is you can see here the environment you can interact with beautifully. So you can kick boxes around, you can throw stuff at people, and it really affects how you play the game. So
yeah.
You could interact with like cups, which you could like throw at people and whatnot. One really funny one is if you get a bucket, you throw it at someone, it lands on their head and they go blind and they can't get it off their head. Really cartoony, really cool stuff that you can happen.
It's cool. I like when the environment like it doesn't feel like it's just like set dressing.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it feels like it's actually like there's interactable elements. Yeah.
Yes. So like here you can see she kicks down the buckets and like kind of goes down the staircase and knocks people over and whatnot. There's some really cool stuff you can do. One of my favorite ones that happened was there's an arena mode you can do, and you can get these bombs. And there was like a cauldron basically that had like liquid and whatnot to cooking stuff. You throw the bomb in the cauldron, it explodes, and the cauldron flies up in the air. And like 5 to 10 seconds later, it comes down and it lands on someone, and it does a cartoonish noise of like you hear like a ding as it hits someone on the head, and one other person gets knocked out. I really like this game. It's really cool. It's a student project. It's made by like 2 people. It's really cool. I really like it. It comes out in August, and I'm really excited. I'm excited so much. I actually put on my Fantasy Critic. This was my last game. Yeah, this is how much I'm really excited for this game because is
the demo still available?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. I would recommend to play. It's like 15 minutes. Really short.
Yeah, this looks great.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would quickly want to talk about that because I thought it was really fun.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Now comes the interesting game.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely didn't leave the best till last. That's for sure.
No.
I mean, to be fair, like, so here's the thing, right? Nathan and I started playing Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me. I'm literally slurring my words because I'm just like, so obviously, Dark Pictures. You go through this horror story. You're making choices. People either they all live or they all die.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, what do you think about this game so far? I mean, we played nearly 4 hours of the story, so I'd say we're probably halfway through.
It's not the best one I've played.
No, definitely not. And you've
Yeah.
only played one other one, so
I don't
well,
know.
I guess you played the Quarry as well, but that's not
Yeah,
really.
yeah. I love
That's
the
like
Quarry.
the AAA, like they actually had
Yeah.
a budget, which you can fucking clearly see they had a budget over this game.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry
I mean,
about the
the-
blowing sound in the background. It's Saturday again, you know.
No,
that's all right.
yeah,
I
you
can't
know
even
what
hear
it
it.
is.
You're good.
All right.
I mean, yeah, they might be able to hear it, but I can't. So that's all that matters, you know.
Sorry, I'm muting my mic here and there. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's good as a multiplayer experience, a co-op experience, just to have a little fun with. But
Dick around.
even compared to what was the last one, House of Ashes?
House
Yeah,
of
I mean,
Ashes.
I enjoyed that. That was good. But yeah, this is just, I don't know. The bugs happen often. They're not huge ones, but they
It's
happen
enough
often.
to just be like, this is
Yeah,
annoying. Like,
pulls you out of it.
this is taking me out of the experience. Yeah, what's really surprised me so far about this is that it's almost like they had half the budget to make this game
Yeah.
versus the House of Ashes. Like, just in the way that it looks. Like sometimes it can look really good, and other times it's like this environment looks like it was pulled together really quickly. And that's no disrespect to the developers, but it just feels like it was rushed. Like it feels
Yeah.
like there was either a shortened development time or they had to push it out the door, and that's why you had this super buggy mess at launch, which is less of a buggy mess, but still, there's still moments where it's like there. I mean, right? One of our characters died, supposedly. We think. We hope.
Yeah, still not sure.
I think it's dead.
And
Yeah.
and essentially, like it looked like it bugged, but we're not sure if it bugged or like that's the most annoying thing about a game that
Yeah.
isn't fully polished is like you can't tell if it's if it's game design wise or if it's
Yeah, we're not sure
just
if the
the
character's gonna come back later.
no exactly.
Yeah.
And like
It was a fake death.
if this person doesn't come back, it's like well. Okay, so then it just bugged because
Yeah.
it gave me an option to pull the lever. I pulled the lever and it was like, oh, he's fucking toast. Like,
Yeah.
the guy's dead. He's literally becoming a fucking barbecue.
Because
like,
the reason why I think that it bugged because you pulled the lever, but then the character's like, I don't want to pull that lever because
yeah,
that's
it's like,
what he
nah,
wants
bro,
me to
I'm
do.
literally pulling. I'm literally pulling it. Like,
Yeah. So I don't know. It's really odd because I sat down and watched it. I watched you guys played it, right?
yeah.
And yeah, like watching it's really buggy. And the thing is, the decision making this game, like not actually like the decisions the developers make, but the characters making this game, like
Well, the thing is, it's like
so
that's,
bad.
that's what's so interesting about this is like I feel like the characters are making decisions I'm not like
Yeah.
we're getting put in these situations because the game is forcing us into them, not because we're making choices that lead us down those paths.
I don't feel
Exactly.
responsible for the story. I just
Yeah.
feel
Well,
like,
especially when they
yeah.
like there was a moment where two characters like stumbled into like a fucking refrigerator.
oh yeah,
That was so
and
forced.
was like, dude, this is clearly this is a fucking trap. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, what do I do? And I just
Yeah.
walked in. I was like, I wouldn't have made that choice. Like I
It was
wouldn't
the
have
most
said to go in
forced
there.
shit I've ever seen.
it was it's
Yeah.
insane. It's
Like
insane.
in other Dark Pictures games, it feels like that would have been a moment where you would make a button prompt
Yeah.
to like
Or
to
a choice to do
a
something.
choice.
Yeah.
But instead they're just like, no, you need to go in there because we need to give you this moment to make a choice.
Yeah.
And then
Rather
like,
than realizing it's too late when it happened, which I prefer
Exactly.
because it's like shit. I should have thought about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
it's just not hitting the same way that I honestly think the other three Dark Pictures games have for me, and especially House of Ashes. And then even going further back, like
Yeah.
even The Quarry, or even what was the one they did on PS4?
The Until
Oh,
Dawn.
Until Dawn, yeah. Like I still think Until Dawn is like the pinnacle of what
Until
this
Dawn
studio
is
has
really
done.
good. That one
And
was really good.
And I think Quarry is like a second place there, but those games obviously have higher budgets.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Until Dawn was published by Sony, Quarry was published by 2K. Like this is Bandai Namco, which I'm assuming like they're not putting a ton of money into it. It's also coming out quicker. It's every year, so it's like
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the lead time on these games. Like how long was this in development for? Was it one of those like 6-month fucking projects?
Mm.
There
Who
are
knows?
some-
But it just
Got a couple of other icks with it. The script is poor.
Huh. Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Really cutty. You know what I mean? Like you could tell they were
Yeah.
not in the same room together. You could tell, like really easily.
And I don't remember feeling that way in House of Ashes.
No, definitely.
Where it
not.
felt like they were like people are reading like a conversation, but they're the only one having the conversation at like it's two separate times where they're actually having this conversation
Yeah,
together.
the emotions are just so detached. It feels
really
really
are.
weird. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
cuts are really as I said, it just feels like a game that it was rushed out the door to meet a deadline.
The map design as well. I mean, ignoring the fact we completely got stuck and actually had to look up a video at one point.
Right,
There
it was
are-
like
where-
there was just there was no guidance at all. It's like we're walking around this
Yeah.
room everywhere, and it's like we don't know where to go. There's a
there
bunch
were
of debris
two
in
or
the way.
three other points that we got a little stuck, but
Yes,
that point we got
that one was like
completely
we're
stuck.
straight up stuck in this room, and I
Yeah.
don't know what to do.
We thought
and
it bugged.
as Ben said, there was a we thought it bugged as well. But as Ben said, like even the comments on that video were like, I don't know what to do. Like I can't believe this is what you do. Like no one knew you had to shimmy through this random gap that doesn't like. You would think in other games what they do is like if you walk past that, there would be a prompt that would pop up for a second, so you'd know where to go. But the prompt was literally you need to know that you need to shimmy there for it to pop up.
You're forcing your character into something, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's also like video games guide you, right? They do some stuff
Especially
to guide
this,
you.
it's linear.
Well, it's just the fact that there's also like the fact. So right, that room you go on into this pool that has no water in it. You go up the thing, and then you look left is where you're meant to go, right? Which is a debris that looks like you can't go there. And then straight ahead is a room with a door, which you can inspect and look through, and nothing happens. You just say, "I wonder if this is the way." That's your character's saying, "I wonder if this is the way."
Yeah, that room was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some of the design is like really odd, and like it's not guiding the player at all. And I'm surprised how much movement there is. Like, because you weren't doing this in House of Ashes. Like, there's like full on like
No.
And it doesn't
segments where
feel
you're just
good,
walking
so it's
around.
janky as
It
well.
does not.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny, like we go to these areas and like go off on these paths and we learn nothing. Like,
Yeah, that's
there
right.
was a moment where they were
Yeah.
like, she was like, "Oh yeah, pretend that you're injured so you can go off and like look around." And then we like went through this alternate route and discovered
Nothing happened.
nothing and came back and was like,
Yeah,
"Did we
discovered
miss
nothing.
something?" Or
I
like,
found
I have no idea.
I think we found a premonition, but that's the thing is it's like it forces you
One.
down paths that you
It
find
could have
them
also
anyway.
just been on the, we could have just been with the group walking and
Yeah.
seen the premonition. Like,
And I
you know what I
found
mean? Like-
a photo of the dude's family, which
Yes.
we found out in due course anyway. So it was like,
Not
yeah,
needed.
it really
Didn't
was
need it.
just a sidetrack that didn't lead anywhere at all. It was like a side, very weird, very weirdly designed, it just overall feels rushed throughout the whole thing. We'll see if it comes together in the end, but
Did you say you're gonna play some more?
I'm not
what,
holding out hope.
tonight or tomorrow night? You said you're gonna play some more.
Well, tonight
depends
we're
when
doing.
people are on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on who's,
Yeah,
who's
true.
around tonight.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah,
I
I am
think-
obviously down to finish it. But
I really
Prediction?
want to watch the rest of it. I
We
I
end up
really want to see how
with-
this ends.
what's the prediction?
3 people left.
3 people. So we've lost.
So we'll
technically
lose two.
Lost
But-
one.
Yeah.
Lost one.
Okay.
Right?
Well, we have lost one, but we're not sure if we actually lost one.
No,
Yeah, we're
true,
not
true,
sure.
true.
Yeah. But I think we'll lose 2 total. I'm
Okay.
going to predict that. I think we'll do better than House of Ashes.
I will
How
say
many people
I
did
am.
you have?
Jamie
House of
screwed me
Ashes?
over. In
I
House
didn't.
of
No,
Ashes.
I refuse to believe that. I left that session of House of Ashes thinking Nathan fucked up all the time. Like,
No,
I don't remember fucking up.
That end bit when I was in the hive, I perfectly pulled off every single bit of that, and then I get to the end and it turns out Jamie left me for dead.
Wait, what? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, so you could make a choice right at the start to, just in case you thought I was going to fuck up, you could have something in place that would kill me but make sure the mission was successful. And I was like, no, I've got this. Trust me. And I fucking did it. And then you didn't trust me.
I didn't trust you. Yeah,
From the
that's right.
start, I was
That's
doomed.
right. Yeah, that's true.
That's really
a
funny.
Good point.
That's really funny.
That's
I
funny.
will say I am excited for the next one. Because I've only played Man of Medan with Shadow, which was glitchy as shit. I played that one and Until Dawn.
Dude,
but
that
the
one pissed me off so much because I literally figured out in Man of Medan, there's like a secret you need to figure out to understand how to get everyone to survive, which I actually really liked. And in hindsight, I think it pulls off that better than
Pulls off pretty well. Yeah.
than I felt after I finished it. But the thing was, I did a second playthrough of that, trying to get everyone to survive, and at the end, my character died because they got cut by a pipe at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and it got infected.
I was like, bro, that's just a level of
stupidest
like
shit.
stupidity of like, okay, I made one small choice at the literally beginning of the game, and that affects me all the way at the end. And it's like, that's just cheap, you know?
Yeah, it is pretty cheap. Yeah,
I'm
I
hoping there's
agree.
no cheap shit in this game like there was in that. But,
Yeah,
might be.
there
What
might
about
be.
the death-
I think so far House of Ashes has been the best Dark Pictures game. And up to that point, they were getting better with each release, but I think this is taking
This is
a bit
a
of it's
sheer
taken a
drop.
bit of a dive.
Yeah.
From
You're
House of
gonna
Ashes,
say
for
Nathan?
sure.
You're gonna say Nathan?
Oh, there was a death in the quarry that I remember Jamie talking about that was really stupid. The last one.
Which one was that?
So you're on an island, and the character you're playing as has
Oh
a
my
choice
God.
to
To
A,
swim
wait
across.
for safety, or B, swim. And
Yeah.
literally the second you make the choice to swim, just dead. That's it.
You're dead.
Yeah, it just shows a 2
I chose to
second clip of
stay,
you swimming.
and Jamie chose to swim.
I was
and
like,
he
oh, I gotta
died.
swim across, and I swam, got to the dock, and then the fucking the monster,
The werewolf.
killed
Yeah.
me. Just
Yep.
immediately killed me. I was
That's
like, right.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
That was so dumb, bro.
Cheated.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it is really
I
stupid.
honestly, I get fucked over in these games a lot by just random
Yeah.
things. I will say, in Little Hope, the second one,
Little Hope,
no
yeah.
one died. On my first playthrough, everyone survived.
Little
But it was
Hope was my
very
least
easy. It
favorite.
was super easy.
Little Hope and the least favorite. I really did not like
Ooh.
Little Hope by any
Ooh.
means.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
Yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
sort
go
of
to the
shit.
bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Just keep talking about this game.
yeah. Because I talked about it with you, Nathan. I'm excited for the next one. It's the one in space. We don't know that much about
yeah, I
it. But
really think that one will hit the mark. I hope.
I
at
hope.
least.
I
'Cause the
really-
story setting is there. Like
it's
ready.
really cool, right? Yeah. And that's still probably one of the only ones I'm actually gonna buy because I played Made of a Day on Xbox Game Pass. But I'm actually probably gonna buy that one because that actually looks really cool. That looks
Yeah.
really, really cool.
I do like it when they're a little difficult. Like I like it when you get to the end and people have died and you think like, God damn, like I
Yeah.
made some choices. I don't regret making that choice, even though
Yes.
they died.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think,
it just has to feel good.
yeah.
with
I
that
think the
choice,
quarry
right?
was a little easy.
Yes.
Only one
Mhm.
of my people died, and it was because I stopped concentrating for like a second and was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'll do this." Oh, I'm an idiot.
yeah. Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
I remember at the quarry, the very end of the quarry, you had the choice to shoot the big bad werewolf, like whatever it was at the very end,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
quarry. Yeah, and I remember so many people decided not to shoot the
And
big
everyone
bad
dies.
werewolf, and everyone dies.
You talking about the quarry?
Yeah. at the
Yeah,
end.
at the very end. At the very end.
I don't know
where
why you wouldn't shoot him.
Yeah. Well, because like one of my friends
I
played
know
it.
there's some empathy thing there, but yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends played it. He said because he felt like it wasn't the right thing to do. Well, not the right thing. Like it felt like there was more to it, and he thought that if he didn't shoot, like it
save
would
the
reveal
kid.
something, right? And he didn't shoot, and it immediately died.
All three of them die.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's no bullshit like that in this.
Yeah, we were just saying, Jamie, how we're excited for the next one, the one in space.
See, I was excited, but now after playing this, I'm like, well,
No,
shit,
I'm still
man. Is it gonna
excited.
be? Is it gonna be? You know, is it gonna have the budget and the time? You know, development time to get it done. I mean, there is no release date for it yet, so that's I guess a positive.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna play it. I'm pretty excited for that one. So
I'll
yeah,
play it if it reviews well and it's not buggy.
yeah, true.
I'll play it
Understand.
eventually, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like. I mean, especially in like the September, October, November window, like there's too many. Games
Oh,
to play.
true.
There's
That's
too
a
many
good
games
point.
to play mid. You know, like,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it enough this experience, but it's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd play it if it was a single player game.
Oh,
I
100%.
probably would have refunded as well if it was
Yeah.
if we were playing co-op. Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty.
All right,
Top 100.
yeah,
It is
let's
time.
do some building of the list.
Alrighty.
What are we at now? We're at 60 games, right? 60. So we're
60-ish.
soon to be
Yep.
63. Who
Okay.
would like to go first?
I'll go first. The game that I am going to add onto the list is Spiritfarer.
Okay.
Yeah, I just really enjoy the game. I really like the story of it. It's a very nice, it's a very chill game. Very nice. You fairy spirits. Literally, that's really it. It's really nice. It's a very nice game. So yeah, that's
How's
it.
it going?
Oh, great question. Scroll up a little bit for me. Go up, go up. We'll put it in between Risk Arena and Amori. That's where I'm gonna stick that.
Boom.
Boom. Cool.
The Ben game collection.
Yeah. Literally, that's my 4 games right there.
All right, Jamie, what are you going?
I am going to pick. I'm going to pick Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that deserves to be here. And I think where would I put Uncharted 4? Where is Uncharted 2 at the moment? It's at number 30. I'm going to put Uncharted 4 at number 28.
Ooh.
Yeah, Uncharted 4, like, it's so funny. I was reminded of how good this game was by the recent Donkey video of Uncharted 4.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was like, holy fuck, dude. Uncharted 4 really was good. And I think it is better than Uncharted 2. I think the reason I was like always thinking Uncharted 2 was better than 4 was that the pacing of 4, it's a much longer game. So it's paced, I would say a little bit more poorly than Uncharted 2, but like the highs of Uncharted 4 are so good. Like there's so many moments in that game that's like, holy shit, this is like Naughty Dog is killing it, man. And so yeah, I think it deserves to be on this list for sure, and I think it deserves to be above Uncharted 2. So. And I don't want to dethrone your precious Nier Automata
No,
until I play it this year. Surely.
yeah, surely this year.
Hey,
definitely will
July,
get
there's something
coming
coming out. Who knows what's gonna happen?
True,
in
you can play in
know?
July. All right, what are you, Nathan?
I'm adding the OG Super Mario World.
Okay,
Yeah.
And I know we've
This
already
is-
got 2 Yoshi's Island, but it's a completely different game.
Of course, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, everyone, I've seen like every top 10 Mario list that I see, Super Mario World is like number 1. So
Yeah, Super
fully
Mario World
makes sense
is.
for it to be.
I'm going to put it here. I
For it to be
personally
there.
like Yoshi's Island quite a lot more. I think it did a lot better. I really
Interesting.
like the art style.
We have a
but-
collection of Mario here. I just noticed.
Dude.
Yeah, it's definitely up there, and it's a great game. Of the 2D Mario's, obviously a bit of nostalgia driven there.
I think with,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
even Super Mario World and Super Mario, even Yoshi's Island, they're very different games.
They are.
Completely
Like-
different for me.
Like
yeah.
it's actually weird that they use the Super Mario World
I think it's like a branding thing.
name. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, obviously, because people see Mario, they're like, oh, I got to play. Because if
Yeah.
they just named it Yoshi's Island, it'd be like, I mean, people
Well-
like Yoshi, but people
Yeah.
like Mario. a lot
At
more,
that
you know?
point, it was like
At that point,
yeah,
exactly.
It's Super Mario World, that cool game.
Yes, the game that one of the best 2D platformers of all time. Is
Yeah.
a game that's not like that with the same branding. No, but yeah, I appreciate that. I like it.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
a good choice.
63 games.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
We are getting
Yeah,
there.
I'll get in there.
I'm really liking the list. I am liking the list. I don't think there's any games on the list right now where I'm like, I do not agree with it being on the list.
There's one
Um,
game that I disagree with.
Oh, which one's that?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Nier Automata.
Yeah, Nier Automata.
No, my one game is Mother 3. That should not be on the list.
Oh, yeah.
I just realized, are we gonna get to 100? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we're at 63.
We'll have to agree on a one at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, true. Yeah, we actually had to like full on agree on one.
Yeah. No,
We
I
actually had to-
did think about that when we
Yeah,
started this.
because I thought
We have to
because if
actually
if we all
agree.
do, it's 33 picks each, but
Yeah.
that's only 99. So yeah,
Yeah, we
one.
have to actually. We have to.
Yeah, we come up to the last one together.
True.
Yeesh.
Do like a
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
that
poll.
should be. I mean, dude, at that point, that's going to be really difficult because
That-
we've all chosen the games that we'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to actually sit down and think about that.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that'll
a
be
worry
fun.
about when we get to
Yeah,
there.
that's many weeks away.
That's many weeks away. Okay, cool. All right.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 23 of the 71st Hour podcast. I'm once again your host, Jamie, joined by Ben and Nathan. You can check us out on our socials down below, except for Ben, who has nothing.
Coming soon,
and-
TM.
Yeah.
Follow Nathan and I on Threads.
Yeah,
That hot
Threads.
new Twitter
do that.
clone. Go to Threads. I'm the Palliser J on Threads. Go check it out. Right now on Threads, there's literally like I've got no followers because like I don't have an Instagram following. And so I'm just posting to nothing. I'm just posting to a void at the
Into the
moment.
ether.
Like I'm just like screaming. I literally made a post where I'm like, there needs to be some discoverability here because I'm screaming to nothing. Like I'm literally donor walling constantly on this fucking
Yeah,
platform.
I like how you say the need to just going with posting to nothing as you are posting to nothing.
I'm just saying shit and no one's listening. We'll see you guys next week.
It's just
Have a good one.
schizophrenia.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.